Mics are hot.
Oh, so hot.
Oh my god, to everybody who's not watching.
Nobody sees how
but
hot these mics
fine.
are.
That'll be fine, because I'm going to transition. Boom. Here we go. So now,
Yep.
we're ready to go. Here we are.
No, we're not ready to go. We are going.
Well, I mean, we're live.
That's going.
Yeah. So I'll control the pictures. I think I can do that. Oh, you know what? You have to keep clicking this.
Yeah.
So I can control the pictures.
Yeah.
So it'll be a mix of, like, clicking and yeah. We'll work this out. We're going to make this work. Here we are, though. See that talk?
Yeah.
Episode 3. We're going to make our calls, Alex Woodside.
We sure are.
Yeah, so anybody who's watching this, likely if you're not watching it live or watching it on VOD.
Video on demand.
The video on demand on the YouTube page. Welcome. Here we are.
Here we are.
Doing our shit. We're about to do this. You're about to watch the unedited, raw version of how we record this podcast, which at times can be trying.
Well, I mean, sometimes a little trying, not that
a little
trying.
bit. Well, no, we've gotten pretty good since this is our 4th series.
Yeah.
Overall, so we're pretty clear. But there is times we might stop,
collect
our thoughts, think a little bit, and so that's what happens here. You get to see pretty much this is like the behind the scenes video of what we do.
Ooh, look at the scenes.
Here. Look at all of our scenes. Look at all of our scenes. Now, first and foremost, and I'm not going to put this in the podcast, but what I'm wearing today, because I get bitched at all the time. This is a Leilando original right here. This harness is a Leilando original, as well as the top. Leilando is my seamstress.
Leilando is a miracle worker.
He's a miracle worker. He can pull shit out.
Yes, he
like
can.
That,
yes, he really can.
Like that.
If you're based in Toronto and you need costuming,
he will fix your shit up in seconds. And is moving into our end of town.
Oh, is he?
Paven Danforth.
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
Wonderful.
I know, right? It's going to be much easier to actually go and see him.
Yeah, I like that.
So before we start, I'm going to itch my nose because I can. We need to make sure that we are going into... Oh, we're already here. Cool. So, that's all set up. Do we have our top 3 and our On the Bubble from last week? Do we have that on hand?
I do have that.
Because we always reference that really fast.
Yeah.
We just need to make sure that was there.
What top 5 last week?
Okay, who was our top 5 last week then? Just to get it in our heads.
Well, why don't we just do that on the show?
Because I just want to know it now. Because we're not going to mention that.
Tomorrow's on the bubble. Valentina, Cynthia, Alexis, Charlie, or Eureka.
Valentina, Cynthia, Alexis, Charlie, Eureka.
Correct.
Valentina, Trinity.
I don't know why you're trying to memorize this shit.
Because normally what happens is when we're doing the show, we end up like referencing it. We talk about it.
Yeah, but it's good to go over it on the show because then we remind the people listening at home.
We do, but we always do that at the end of the show. And whenever I always feel like I'm making a mistake in our own format of shit. Anyway.
All right.
Anyway,
well,
I think it's time for us to actually legitimately start recording this
too.
podcast.
So now,
you guys get to see me go into my Zen mode.
To change that, I'll tell you that much right now.
I'm very Zen.
We are now rolling on Sissy That Talk Series 4.
Series 4.
RuPaul's Drag Race Season 9.
Season 9.
Episode 3.
Episode 3.
Yes, babe. I'm rolling.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's Sissy That Talk with Velvet Valhalla. I'm Velvet Valhalla, joined as always on live stream with co-host Alex Woodside. Alex,
hello.
We're live to the internet today as well,
live
as on digital audio formats as well. So if you guys want to know what we look like, what we're looking like at the moment, you can go on YouTube. You can watch the our VOD of this whole live stream here on YouTube. Now, there's a whole special reason why we're here live, not just because we want to see your fantastic faces, potentially chat left and right. This week is episode 3, and in the history of our podcast show, there's always something that we do on episode 3. And Alex Woodside, what is that we do on episode 3 of RuPaul's Drag Race?
We make our calls for top 3 of the season.
And I think that this might be the most difficult top 3.
It's not easy. There's a lot of questions.
There's still a lot of questions.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that if we get one this time, I'm going to feel good about it, even though we got 2, right? Our record is 2.
Yeah, our record is 2 in the top 3.
Our record is 2 that we called from episode 3 that made it all the way.
Yeah.
So, if we could get 3, that'd be crazy.
It would
especially considering how everything is in the show at the moment.
It's everywhere right now.
It's madness.
Yeah.
It's pure madness. So, anyway.
I found this episode to be a little bit crazy for expectations.
But in terms of expectations, what are you talking about?
Well,
let's talk about the episode then, now that we're into it. You made a nice little segue.
Yeah, we don't have to call all of our segues. We have a habit of doing that.
I know.
We gotta let them roll.
Sometimes let our segues go.
Yeah, because we kill our own segues by pointing them out.
By pointing out the fact that we're segueing.
Yes.
Did you notice? Is this just something that it's been bothering you for a while?
Yeah, I realized it last episode.
Yeah.
And now I'm calling it out.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop calling my segues then. I'm just gonna let them happen.
That's right. I think it was so. This week we had the fairy tale challenge,
which I said right off the top. I think conceptually, from like a paper standpoint, is probably one of the most interesting challenges they've ever put on the show.
I definitely think it shows the VH1 budget, a little bit of CG animation going on.
Well, they've always had shitty green screen stuff in the show.
Yeah, but this is the most integrated.
This is the most integrated because it's like a shitty green screen with animation on top. And I wonder how much they had in terms of getting it animated. I wonder if they were like, okay, these are the cartoons that you can pick from.
Yeah.
Now, pick from these cartoons and then make a character based upon what these cartoons are. But I don't think that's the case because there's like the flame thing. There's too many personal things. So I think this is totally a post-production decision. They made a rabbit, then they animated a rabbit to go with it. It's pretty interesting.
I think so. There must have been, I don't know. It's hard to say how exactly it all went down.
I like it, though.
I like it, too.
I like this challenge. I like this challenge a lot. I think it was... It's a great construction challenge.
It was a fantastic construction challenge.
A great construction challenge and character challenge at the exact same time.
Yes.
I think it was a perfect meld of Drag Race challenges.
Yeah, and they really took the character portion of it very seriously.
Yes, which I think is great.
Yeah.
I think it's something that needs to happen.
I would say even it was the deciding factor in our top.
Of this week?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
We haven't even talked about who our top this week is.
Well, the winner of the season.
Oh, you mean the winner of the...
the season.
The winner of the episode.
Yeah, which was Trinity. I think she won 100% because
she had a cohesive story from top to bottom.
Yeah, and her character was really strong, and everyone else who had a strong outfit didn't necessarily have a strong character to go with that outfit, being their sidekick character.
Good point, yeah. So, the integration there was really good. Yes, I like that.
And I think that was of the utmost importance, because I think the queens in the Untucked, if you watch the Untucked, the queens who were safe complained a lot about the fact of who was up as the top
There was a
three.
Lot of complaining.
Yeah, because Alexis was complaining, Eureka was complaining, Charlie was complaining, Trinity was up there. They were all complaining because they felt like they had better outfits than the top three.
Yes.
Which I wouldn't say is untrue, though I do think Trinity's outfit was very good. But what they didn't have was a sidekick character to go with that outfit.
I agree. Yeah. Yes. Now, you said that it was disappointing somehow, or like expectations were high. What's the...
Well, I think the expectations on a challenge that is construction-based is that it will be solely about the outfit.
Oh, the outfit, the fashion. It's a fashion challenge as opposed to a fashion character challenge.
And it was not. Yeah, it was more, in the end, a character challenge.
And I hope that, as it continues, that it is a fashion and character situation. That's kind of what I want from...
I don't necessarily want that
most
every
challenges.
time. I think it's important.
Yeah.
But sometimes I want just a straight construction, straight fashion challenge.
Yeah,
because that shit's really important too.
Yes, okay.
And it lets people shine in a different kind of way when they can put all their energies into just that.
I suppose you're talking about the split focus.
Yeah.
And how the split focus could end up, being an issue.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. So, about the episode overall then.
Yeah.
I laughed a lot.
Yeah, it was very good, especially the Untucked.
The Untucked was spectacular.
Hey, if you have not watched the Untucked, again, stop right now. Stop your shit. Turn us off and go watch that Untucked, because it is fantastic.
Yeah. Watch the Untucked. The Untucked is great.
Yeah.
It started out really strong, and then I think it petered off a little bit, and we were happy it was over, which was good.
Well, I got a little best friends race by the end.
Yes, but which seems to be a theme in the whole thing.
True. But it was catty as fuck off the top.
Oh my god, right off the hop, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe the amount of shade
and
the amount of bitterness throughout the entire thing. And we'll touch more on a per queen basis as we get further into this whole scenario. But damn. DAMYN.
I'm also saying with the switch to VH1, so not only are we seeing that money in our little CG characters there, I'm also hearing the money in the music across the board in the episode. You seem to dislike the music.
But the VH1 money's not... I guess it's going to logo. And
they had like straight up like video game themes in the workroom. It was weird.
In the work, like in the episode or in the Untucked?
No, in the episode.
You know what? I was mostly complaining about the music in Untucked.
It's always somber.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
I was like zoning out, like Kimura's like goodbye, and I was just kind of listening to the music, and just
Didn't like it.
I like it. Ooh.
Didn't like it.
No,
anyway,
no, fair enough.
I didn't notice the video game. You know what? I'll put an ear to the music on the next episode.
You do that
to see if the VH1 music. Well, you know what? Definitely the VH1 money is happening with the lip sync musics.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah, which is
I Need a Hero.
Yes,
huge track.
Now I'm gonna say this one touched me a little bit personally because we did a at a convention. Me and Lando and Alex, we did a show, which was basically a lip sync gong show.
Yes,
that's what happened.
Yes,
and in that lip sync gong show, the main event, the headline was a lip sync battle between myself and one Lando.
Yes,
and we decided prior to the whole thing that our song was going to be Bonnie Tyler's Hero. I Need a Hero.
Yep,
and
boy, did they lip sync to that.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Their lips were moving, not necessarily to the words.
I sent you guys lip sync to that.
Oh, we lip sync to that. Yes, there's a video of it online. I have never watched it, but it's there somewhere on YouTube. I was a mess.
I wouldn't say it's too far off from our lip sync from this week's episode.
I don't think. Yes, I got a new respect for having to lip sync, like the pressure that would be on the runway, because I did a whole bunch of things. I never took my shoes off though,
or your wig.
Or my wig. Actually, my wig kind of came off a little bit, but that was sort of organic. I threw it back on my head.
Yeah, that's true.
But yes, but my wig kind of popped out. It was a thing. It was a thing, and so I know a thing or two about lip syncing.
I think it's on YouTube, isn't it?
It is on YouTube.
Okay, go find it, people.
No, find it on YouTube. I have no idea what it's called or where it is because I've never watched it personally because I can't watch it because I remember that night in the hotel room, we were lying down, we were about to go to sleep, and we were both like in pain. We were both hurt, and we looked at each other and we said, "We're never going to do this again, ever," because it was just too much, and it was too much, and that was the thing. So. I mean, do we want to talk about lip sync, or do you want to bring that up when we're talking about the Queen?
No, let's talk about it right now. I thought it was interesting. I thought it started kind of slow.
Yes.
And then it really heated up towards the end.
I don't feel like it started slow at all.
No?
No, I feel like... And we had a comment from Eileen, who commented on a Facebook post that we made about how we think we might have another dragon. And I think that she's mentioning that the dragon... could be Aja.
Yeah.
I think that Aja needs to slow her movements down because she was constantly stabbing and flailing, and it was just exactly right, and just moving her hands, and it didn't feel coordinated.
I know. I think she has a bit of a style on the runway or in the lip sync kind of catwalk there. I didn't particularly dislike it. I felt like they both kind of lost track of the song at a certain point.
100%.
And they were just kind of trying to catch up to the song.
But you see, that's my problem. A good lip sync is a meld between the performer and the song at the exact same time.
Totally.
Now, I mean, this is not something that they've had a chance to rehearse or perform or anything like that, and this might not be a song that either of them like.
Yeah.
Which I think kind of showed a little bit whenever they were going in.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you need to be able to just understand the rhythms of the song, and I don't feel like either of them really did. I think Kimura did a better job of understanding the rhythm. It's just Kimura didn't have as much outward energy.
Yeah, she didn't have the energy. She didn't bring the wow factor. Aja definitely brought the wow factor at the end. They were both kind of meddling throughout, and then they had a couple of big spots at the end where Aja took center stage.
Yeah, and I think that's what ultimately that's what won it for. But
that and I think Kimura. It felt appropriate for Kimura to leave this episode.
It did. She said her goodbyes.
She said her goodbyes. It felt like
she was on the bubble last week.
She was on the bubble last week. If you watched the Untucked, it really felt like she had checked out.
Yes.
And so
we were hoping she'd come back. We were hoping that she'd make a comeback.
You were hoping more than I was.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always liked Kimura.
I don't know why. Doesn't make sense. That's just kind of how I felt. Yep.
I think her reference to the Kardashians this episode really sealed it for me.
Your dislike?
I was all like, I see where this girl's coming from. She really doesn't want to have to do anything, but she wants to have that fame. She wants to have that fame for doing very little. I mean, not saying she does do. She has a high level of drag, so I'm not disparaging her on that. But I feel like that's her aspiration, and I think that's a shitty aspiration.
Yeah, we want to try to be more than that.
Yeah, more than a Kardashian? Yes, please. Please, God.
So, Yeah, I guess the last thing I'll say about the lip sync is I feel like Aja is performing Aja, not performing the song, and I have an issue. And I just that's something that just bothers me about her lip sync. I want her to perform the song and not just go out there and perform Aja just with musical backgrounds. But anyway,
we'll get deeper into that.
Yeah. As we talk about the queens, because is that what we're going into?
I think we're definitely going into that.
Our first queen, on the runway
Yes.
is one Cynthia Lee Fontaine, and unfortunately, we don't have a Cynthia title block.
No,
but we do have something here. Boom! Look at this production value.
That's right
on stream right there. So,
look at it.
Yes, look at it. Bam! We got stuff. We got stuff. Wait, there. It's right there.
Yeah.
Cynthia Lee Fontaine, what did you think about her this week?
I think she really flew under the radar this week for someone who had so much power coming into last week and still into this week for performing quite well last week.
Yeah, we gave her credit coming from being the queen that returns.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of that power that we said that she would have came in basically like kind of last week's episode, first week's episode.
Yeah.
So she really didn't fit in the power ranking. So we gave her kind of like an honorary power ranking last week.
Well, because she was coming into the episode as a returning queen, and that gives you a lot of power, and she did wield that power last week.
Yes, and last week, but we didn't have a chance to put her on the power rankings last week. And
we put her on the power rankings last week.
We did last week, but that's power going into this week.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. She didn't really utilize that going into this week.
Yes, no, she didn't at all. But I think that's just kind of her. She's sort of pageant mom. Now, the thing that I liked about her is that she was always a presence in the show.
Yes.
Regardless of if she had the A storyline or the B storyline, at every point in time, she was a presence inside the show.
Yep.
She had a big voice whenever we were talking about Pulse.
Yes.
She had a huge story about that.
Yes, she did.
And also, our favorite thing that you pointed out, because we restarted the episode once or twice, just to get everything synced up the way that we wanted it to. When she walks into the workroom, she just holds her hands up like a champion.
No, but she was like everyone else was like doing like a little bit. She just kind of came in with her
arms in the air. It was amazing.
Just deadpan.
Yeah, I'm so happy that Cynthia's here. I think she adds something so special to the season.
A little cuckoo,
a little bit fun.
Yeah,
a little bit different.
Yeah.
What do I think about her runway this week? I thought it was safe, and that's why she was safe.
It was super Cynthia.
Yes,
kind of just there, but not super hot, I would say.
Yeah, it was constructed.
I'll say her character is painted well, which can't be said for some other people. But it wasn't overly interesting, but it was fine. It was fine across the board.
I think that's it. She was safe this week, and I think she's just generally safe.
Yeah,
I think that's generally it. Who's our next queen?
Our next queen.
Oh, here we go. It is Peppermint.
Peppermint.
Yes, we got Peppermint. So Peppermint was very surprising to me this week.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she deserved to be in the top 3. I think
no,
I don't. I think that Peppermint. I think Peppermint's probably number 4. I would have put another queen above Peppermint in.
But why? But for why?
Thing. For what reason?
Yeah,
easy. The simple reason is I think that Charlie.
Okay.
I think that Charlie brought it just a step more in terms of the runway fashion and in the character.
I don't know if I 100% agree with that. So we're looking at her runway look there with her character. Yep. I think it was a strong runway look.
I'm not saying it wasn't strong, and I'm not saying I didn't like it.
Okay.
I just think that Charlie had a bit of just a small advantage over top of Peppermint on it.
I would disagree.
The disadvantage I will say that Charlie had is that Peppermint had a personal story attached into her whole runway story.
Yeah, that was my big note on her. She sold story twofold. She sold the character and the idea of the character with her pilot light sidekick, and so it was a complete package of a character with story. But then on top of that, she laid in kind of the personal background story to it, giving it a lot of depth. For the judges,
which is always very successful on the runway in terms of getting judge critiques. If you can bring something personal to it, if you have a strong aesthetic and you bring a personality to it and a personal story, that always wins the judges over. Unless the personal story has to do with hip pads, and then the judges just start laughing at you because you get this personal story, and then your personal story is that I don't feel comfortable not wearing hip pads.
Oh my god!
I mean that was something. Anyway.
That was Kimora Black.
Yes,
we'll get to that.
Maybe. She was eliminated this week, so we might not.
Okay, then I'll say it now.
Say it now.
From the judges, I think that was the shadiest shit that judges have ever done.
That's very true. Yeah,
that was it was wonderful. Don't get me wrong. I loved every second of it.
I loved it too.
They have never been so shady as they were making fun of Kimora Black's pads, or lack thereof.
Especially, you know what though? I think a lot of it had to do Kimora Black really solidified herself as a sort of an interesting and weird character this week.
Yeah.
Like, as a person and as a character.
Well, she came out as a person this week.
Yes, but in the most superficial way possible.
Well, the hip pad thing was like an
Shit, we're
obvious...
talking about her now.
Yeah, well, anyway, that's why I was saying maybe we should wait.
No, just keep going. We're on it.
We're on it now. So I think that the hip pad line was an obvious ploy to try to legitimize kind of where she felt she was at this week. But I really, really think that her stuff in the Untucked was legit. I feel like she did open up quite a bit. I don't think she did particularly well with the kind of the not attack, but like attaching herself to other kind of queens. But I feel like it's something that she wanted to do. But I think the stress of the competition really prevented her from kind of opening up. And so when she felt like she lost, which she obviously did in the Untucked, she basically knew she was going home. I think she kind of let go of her anxiety and kind of became a person.
Yeah.
And started talking to people. And there was realness in there after all.
The realness.
Yeah, but it was definitely underneath a lot of layers of,
I think a lot of personal anxiety.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing about that.
Yeah. So I think ultimately she was an interesting queen. I'm not sad to see her go, but I'm happy that she flowered a little bit on the show there.
Her outfit kind of sucked, and her monkey was terrible.
Her outfit blew.
Yep.
It was awful.
Okay. Anyway, now we've went that sidetrack. Peppermint. Do we have anything else we have to say about Peppermint? Peppermint. Did Peppermint have any other big moments in the?
No, not particularly. I mean, obviously, being in the top 3, being talked about in the Untucked and stuff, but she didn't push it much beyond that. Though she was strong. I mean, she gave a strong performance this week, so. Good for her.
Yeah.
That's what I got to say about that.
Next up, I think we have a lot to say about this next queen. Pheromone is our next queen that we have that we're going to talk about. And they kind of hinted at what was going to happen with Pheromone in the very first episode when she walked in and she started crying about not having a table. She was whining about that. And then the whininess continued.
Yeah.
In this episode, it seems like it just picked up from that seed that they planted in the first episode.
I think she's fortunate in that she has not brought that whininess to the runway yet.
Yes.
I think as soon as she brings that whininess to the runway, she is gone.
Yeah, I agree. Or she's gone or she's going to be right to filth. One or the other.
She also has not brought that whininess in front of Rue. Like, her conversations with Rue have been pretty fine.
Yeah.
And she hasn't kind of succumbed to the whininess that you then see kind of later or before, her kind of sitting on the floor. It's funny. That shot of her on the floor trying to cut the fabric, I think is the only time in the show that she hasn't looked gorgeous.
Yeah,
she looked like shit sitting on the floor.
She looked like a mess.
Yeah, I was like, who is that? And I was like, is that Farrah? Jesus Christ.
She was having a moment.
Oh, yeah.
She was having a pretty hard moment that whole time.
And, she did what girls who can't sew do, and she phoned it in.
She phoned it in. That's true. But you know what? I think the judges were right. I like everything from her tits in this look.
It's not bad. I mean, mind you, that bra was basically made by Eureka.
Basically, yeah.
And also conceptually done by Eureka. She was all like, take all that shit and glue it on there.
Glue it up there, going up the side. That's very true. But I like her hair and I like her makeup. Yeah. I think her hair and makeup are pretty damn great. Yeah, looks very good on the runway.
Yeah.
I mean, her fish was terrible.
So bad. I couldn't even understand his fish. I thought she was like the sun, and I was like, that's weird.
Yeah.
If you're an underwater character, why would you be the sun?
Now, my question is, I wonder if, some of the looks that we're seeing, some of the paper craft, is slightly inspired by Nina Bobina and her ability to do things in the runway. I think
there's paper craft kind of going across all the queens right now.
Yeah.
I'm seeing it from numerous people, and I do think that Nina is having an effect on that. People are being like, I can do this. This is a legitimate
They feel like it's
approach.
Something they have to show.
Well, no, I don't think it's something they have to show. I think they get ideas and they know they don't have the material to do those ideas properly. But they see that Nina's been able to pull off these paper looks really well, so they feel more comfortable utilizing paper as a construction element in their outfits.
Yeah.
And I think that's interesting. I don't think that's bad necessarily. I think it can be done poorly, and I don't think it has been done poorly yet.
Well, I mean, this fish is kind of done poorly. This is sort of.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's true.
That's just what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's interesting. I don't think that Farrah is long for this competition.
No.
At this moment.
No.
I think that, definitely, I think she has a story going on, and if she's able to overcome this, then she has a chance of being able to make it further than what she is kind of stuck at.
I'll tell you right now, she's not in my top 3.
No, she's not my top 3 either. Yeah. Not at all. Not at all.
I don't think she has the legs for this competition.
I don't think so either, because she doesn't have that innate confidence going into it.
No.
And you see that whenever she gets pushed, whenever she's pushed into a challenging situation, she crumbles as opposed to overcomes.
Yeah.
And she needs to have a lot of people around her to try to build her back up. And
I don't know that she has a flourish in her. You know what I mean? I think she's always very well kind of polished in her look, because she's a very pretty
from the neck up.
Yeah.
Ish.
Well, and she's got the bod and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I think because of that, I just don't see where she will flourish if she does. Like, I don't see the hint of something more.
You don't see her strength.
No, I don't see her strength other than her face.
Yeah, and her natural girlish looks.
Yeah.
That's fair. And she is the pretty queen of the season.
She definitely is.
She's definitely filling in that pretty queen with no talent.
Yes. That's where she's sitting right now.
I think she also has the difficulty being the pretty queen with no talent that seems to second guess herself whenever she could have. Like, I think she has that talent. She's just not confident in that she has that talent.
I mean, maybe.
I don't think that she's found in her personality what's funny.
No.
And like, I don't think that she's able to take. I think she takes herself too seriously, and she doesn't know where to find the humor and levity inside her drag character.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
That's a thing.
She plays it pretty straight, if you will.
Yes. Anyway, I don't have much more to say about Pheromone until a little bit later.
No, I literally had no notes about her.
Yeah, she just did what she did.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Charlie Hides.
Charlie Hides. I think that Charlie Hides had my favorite runway look of all the runway looks. And we're going to pop that in. Boom, right there. Graphics if you're watching on video. If not, you can go back and watch the show.
Yeah.
Charlie Hides, I loved her gown. I loved the way that it was gathered. I loved it, just everything about it. And she has a very strong aesthetic. And I don't know. I just liked everything about it. The things coming out of her hair, the bun, the scepter, the way it was draped, everything. I just love this. I love this look, and I liked her character. I think a lot of it has more to do with the fact that Charlie Hides sort of speaks to my personality in terms of humor.
Yeah.
And that's why I found that really funny. But
I think she nailed the sidekick.
I feel like she nailed the sidekick.
And I think that sidekick really played into her
her character,
princess character. But I do think her sidekick outshone her princess character
a little bit. Yes.
And I don't necessarily know why, because her outfit is there, and there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe it was just the way that she presented herself on the runway.
It's because her outfit doesn't tell a story as strong as everything else. And I think ultimately the reason why I think that Peppermint was put above Charlie is that Peppermint's story was apparent in her outfit, and Charlie's outfit was just stunning.
Yeah.
So it just looked good.
Well, this is what I'm saying, though, like why I would like to see just a pure construction design challenge and let them be judged just on the basis of that.
Yeah.
Because I do feel that the character was such a strong element for the judges in this particular competition.
That you think it detracted from, like, fine craftsmanship.
Well, and I think half the girls weren't expecting that. I think they put all of their thought and all of their effort into their construction, and very little thought and very little effort into their sidekick character, though that's not the case with Charlie.
No.
But with, like, Eureka, we were talking about next. And I think they were really frustrated because they didn't really understand where the challenges, what the balance of the challenge would be. And it was a true 50-50 split. And I think they thought maybe it was like a 70-30 kind of situation, and it definitely wasn't that.
Very true. Charlie, though, I think Charlie had a really good week.
Yeah, she
overall.
I think she had another very good week. I think she was strong throughout the whole episode. She had a presence.
I agree. Yep.
And she came out and looked great. I think she's holding her own, and I don't think anyone. I think there's a couple other girls that are holding their own that way as well. But I think Charlie, she has legs to me.
I think so too. I mean, I want to talk about Charlie a bit later whenever we're talking about our top threes, because like I have feelings.
I know you have feelings. She was your dark horse in our first episode.
She was.
Yeah.
She was my dark horse in the first episode.
You know who my dark horse was?
Who?
Pheromone.
Well, look, I had a good dark horse.
Yeah.
But a bad person in my 3.
Oh yeah, because you put black up there.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
For some reason, that's what my gut said, and I just went with it.
Yeah.
Because that's what I do sometimes. That's what I do a lot. I shoot from the hip.
Shoot from the hip. Yeah. All right, let's
talk
about our next queen. Eureka.
I'm just going to let you talk about Eureka. Our Eureka photo
is not working out very well.
It's not working out very well.
So we'll put it up there real...
You talk about Eureka.
Okay. I think, Eureka had kind of she had a good week. She had a really great idea in her outfit, in that she was like the sewer queen or whatever.
Conceptually, I loved the idea.
I don't think she really pulled it out in her outfit, which we're trying to show you desperately. That's what all this clicking is all about.
Just keep talking.
I'm sorry, it's distracting. You have to talk off your head. She just didn't really incorporate the idea of the sewer queen into her outfit beyond a few kind of really small pieces of like plastic cockroaches.
Yeah, I feel like what the outfit needed was, instead of it being a bodysuit, I wanted it to be a full skirt.
Yeah, and you can attach things to the skirt.
And then you can have the story go down.
Yeah,
right.
I agree with that.
Because this here is just like, it's just basically bangles and an ass cake.
And when you talk about like the sewer, like if you had like a big, huge, like flowy
garbage bag.
Yeah, garbage bag would have been a great
garbage
choice.
bag dress.
The garbage bag dress is that is a good play. You can make that play, and it's totally acceptable, and you can make it work, and it would have worked really well. But even a typical gown, like a big, bold shootout gown, would have been great, because it would have felt like she was like sitting in sewage, and I think that's what I kind of wanted to see. It was like, you're going to the sewage queen, you got to get into that dirtiness, and then make it beautiful.
She's way too clean, especially on the leg. Like, she's supposed to be a sewer queen, but the whole leg is very clean.
Yeah.
I wanted to see a trash train.
Yeah.
If she had like a train of cans and garbage coming along, but like that's whenever I think sewer princess, those are the things I'm thinking. I'm thinking like extravagant amounts of garbage.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see. Crushed cans.
So good idea,
with that kind of stuff.
But she totally fell short on execution. Also, the makeup on her sidekick is just brutal.
I liked it though. I liked it. It gave me a very Barf from fucking that movie, the Spaceballs. I got a very Spaceballs Barf feeling.
Yeah, totally.
Which I really liked.
It just looked like a mess. I mean, our picture's not very good because it's all zoomed in.
Yeah.
But to me, it just looked like a total mess. I couldn't really make out the details very well on it. So I think she fell on that as well. So she was safe, and I think safe was a good position for her to be in.
Yes.
Because I don't think... she definitely didn't win the day, and I don't think she should have been in the top 3.
Not at all.
But she didn't lose either, because she did look good. She came out there and she got laughs, and she owned her character in her presence, which is something I think that's where Charlie lacked a little bit.
She made bold choices.
Yes.
And that's what I liked about her.
Yeah.
She knew that she had to turn something on her head, and she made decisions to do that. It's just I don't think she took that step far enough. And something to say about her is that it is difficult for a big queen to make her own stuff.
Yeah,
because they need like 2 or 3 times the amount of fabric. And it might have turned out that there might not have been enough fabric for her to be able to make
a huge gown.
A gown out of, just because of her size.
I doubt that. I mean, there's tons of fabric in that room.
They always, I think they always try to do that. Yeah. But anyway, I think that she had kind of an okay week. I think she's struggling by not... I think she has a struggle when she's not the alpha.
She always wants to be the alpha.
She always wants to be the alpha, and you see that in the Untucked. Because in the Untucked, they're trying to talk about who they think are in the tops and bottoms.
Yeah.
And that conversation is happening, and she just pops herself in and says, no, I want to say who I think should be in the tops and bottoms.
I'm going to tell you what's what.
I'm going to tell you what's what. I wanted to say who's going to be in the tops and bottoms.
Yeah.
And I think that's an interesting thing to see go on, especially whenever we start getting some queens that are getting a little bit more stride, a little bit more pep in them step, like Alexis and Trinity are starting to feel themselves a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to a really heated group challenge and what the Untucked's going to look like after that, because I think we're going to see some fireworks. I mean, like just coming off the stage in this week's Untucked, there was so much heat, so much discussion.
Fire.
So much fire, but it wasn't really directed towards anyone so much, except for the case with Aja, which we'll get to. It was more just kind of like a general kind of like, they didn't really know where to put their passions, which was fine because they weren't attacking each other. But I think they will get to a point when they are attacking each other, and I think that's going to be interesting.
I can't wait for that to happen because we know what we want.
We want some drama.
We want catty drama. We want acrylic nails stuck in
shade.
Yeah, that's what we want. We want that stuff.
Yeah.
That's what we want.
All right, next up we have Alexis Michelle.
Alexis Michelle. I absolutely adored Alexis's color choices on her face.
Let's go right into that. Her makeup was wow.
It's not just that her makeup is wow. It's the decisions that she made with her makeup to her hair. Yeah. Because the hair made that pop.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the thing that I will say about it is she feels more fairy godmother than she feels princess.
I will agree with that.
Yes.
But what I specifically loved about her hair and makeup was her eyeshadow when she closes her eyes matches that little bit of green in her hair.
That's what I'm saying. It's magic. It's magic the way that she's able to take a warm hair color and a cool face and have them tied into each other and make all that work. But it's fairy godmother to me. It is not princess.
I will agree with that. I will totally agree with that. I think that is the problem with her look. Though I think her makeup was the best of anyone's. It was so on point.
I can say that. I'll say that in terms of just a pure application standpoint.
Oh, well, but also
the glitter's in the right spot, like everything about it.
She went with a blue base, right?
Yes.
She did her whole face blue and it matched pale into her costume. It was seamless.
Very it's fantastic. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's probably my favorite makeup.
Yeah.
Just makeup application.
My feeling right now is that she might be the one who understands painting for camera the best. Because in the Untucked, you get a very different look at her makeup, and you see the lines of it a lot more. But when she's out on the runway, it is like seamless. It's crazy.
Yes, and but I also know for a fact that the way that they're shooting the runway is totally in a soft way to make those issues, unless they're totally glaring, kind of disappear. Because if you take a look at when you're judging somebody's makeup on this show, you have to look at the runway, but you also have to look at Untucked.
Yeah.
Because that shows you everything about it. They do a lot of things. It's like going on Instagram and saying my makeup is fantastic and then putting filters all over it.
Yeah, we had a lot of discussion in the episode about that very thing.
Exactly. The runway puts a filter over top of a queen's makeup to make it look a bit softer and a little bit more blended. And I do think that that's a very important thing for the show to do, because a lot of these queens aren't going to understand how to paint for camera, and they need to make sure that the premiere part of their show,
which is the runway.
The runway looks as good as it possibly can. So it gives them a little bit of leeway until they learn. And then the Untucked gives you a full look at how it was. Her makeup was fantastic.
I want to talk about her outfit a little bit here.
Yes.
Because this is kind of what we're talking about with Eureka, right? So she's wearing a gown here, Alexis, and in that gown you have the application pieces of the crabs.
Yep.
And that's what's telling the story all the way through, right? And giving. I don't think her gown is particularly fantastic,
and I don't think her story accents are particularly fantastic either. I think that they're a bit sparse.
But I think the approach that she took to it is the approach that Eureka should have taken to it, and had Eureka taken that same approach, I think she would have been more successful, even than Alexis was in the execution.
I agree. I think Alexis is a very strong queen. I see her making it
super strong.
I see her making it very far in this entire show, just based upon her seeming poise.
Yep.
And her talent, and she's showing. She's at a different level.
She's at a different level. And this is what I mean when we're talking about Farrah, and I don't really see what Farrah has kind of behind and what she has left to come out. Whereas with Alexis, I feel like we haven't really seen Alexis shine yet, but I know when we do, it's going to be really bright. It's going to be really fantastic, and there's something there, and it's very good. That's what my feeling on Alexis is.
I will say, though, we've been talking a lot about Alexis because her look, her makeup is stunning. We're not talking about her character, and this is a two-part. This is a two-part thing. I think her character, the tadpole, the subway tadpole, was a little bit strange.
No, I liked it. I liked it because I think her concept was that she was like the subway princess kind of thing, right?
Yes.
But she mixed that with like an underwater theme.
Which doesn't make any sense.
And so I think that's where she kind of got off. Whereas I think her sidekick character brings in like kind of like the subway kind of like dude on the subway who's like a loudmouth who talks to everyone. And so I got the subway feel from her sidekick character. And it was kind of forced into the underwater kind of concept. Which I think was probably her downfall. As she could have made that subway princess thing work for her in a more direct way, it would have been better. However, she probably really wanted to go with the aesthetic choices of the underwater. So I feel like there was a disconnect there between what she wanted to do aesthetically and what she wanted to do like conceptually.
Yeah.
And she wasn't ever really able to marry them successfully. And that's why she wasn't in the top 3. Despite the fact that like she looks phenomenal.
She looks, yeah, but again, her outfit though, which is part of the challenge, just wasn't.
Her painting on her sidekick is also fantastic.
I don't know if it is.
I really like it.
I think it's interesting.
Well, it's very
there's a clown. Yeah, but I was going to say there's a clown thing to it, and from her Broadway background, and she's constantly saying that she's a Broadway performer and that kind of stuff. So I can understand where that comes from.
I find it super expressive. Like if you're looking at it right now, it's very expressive. It's giving you a lot of expression, and that's because of the way she's painted the mouth.
Yes,
and the way that it works against her own facial expressions.
You know, the way she painted the mouth reminds me of another queen in this show.
Oh, really? Who?
Yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. Who up next? We have Nina Bonina Brown.
And we sure do.
Nina Bonina Brown.
Nina Bonina.
Here's the thing. Bobina, people live for Nina Bobina. But she had sort of a week where she disappeared into the background. Yeah. And she expressed how difficult that was for her in the Untucked.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
This is what she came out as. So she went with like a Mars princess kind of
Silver
idea.
Mars princess. Yeah. Now, this is what I'm going to say about her makeup on this. What I really liked is that she had this silver piece of paper that made her cone head.
Yeah.
But what she did is she actually took her makeup and she blended that up into the silver paper.
Yeah.
You can see it whenever you look. You can see how it's sort of matte at different points.
Yeah, yeah.
And that matteness is what blended her face into that silver paper.
Yeah,
into a really... I think it's very interesting.
Here's my feeling on her this week. I think she painted her character, her sidekick character, better than anyone else did. I think her sidekick character was the best sidekick character. I think her sidekick character completely upstaged her. I was more interested in looking at her sidekick and its bouncing boobs and its funny little quibs than I was at looking at her. And what she was giving was real, but it is like, I'm coming to expect that from her, so she's giving me what I expect, and then I have this other weird character where I'm like, what is this thing? This thing is so much fun. You know, it's some weird robot that's on one wheel, the tits are all bouncing around, the face is complete.
Which is what she serves, the tits bouncing around. But I think
that's true.
I think this does speak to something that we've been kind of bringing up in our previous episodes of the podcast, which you can listen to at ValhallaSeason.com, as well as on iTunes and on Stitcher and other places where you can find podcasts.
And one episode on YouTube?
And 2 episodes on YouTube now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, look at that. I'm going to try to upload more episodes on YouTube. Anyway, shameless plug. This is something... So her face paint is interesting.
Yeah.
But her fashions are not.
No.
And the reason why I feel like you're drawn toward her robot character is her robot character is all of her strengths and none of her weaknesses. Because you don't have to look at the fashion that she's bringing into the character as well, because again, what we're looking at with her fantastic face paint is a very basic bodysuit with not really all that much more.
No, she hasn't even really brought any other elements into it. It's literally a silver bodysuit.
Yeah, there's not. And I mean, I understand what her character is. Her story made sense. She's telling her story out there. Her makeup application on the eyes was fantastic.
Yeah.
Again, we're looking at on camera with the soft filter. It really brings a lot of the lumpiness that she has to do in order to get this stuff down so fast. It brings that down a little bit.
Yeah, totally.
But she's not giving me she's giving me a little bit of attitude.
Yeah.
Which I like. She wants to be there.
Yeah.
She wants to be in the competition. She's ready to compete.
Yes, totally.
But the thing is, I feel like she's just missing that fashion element.
I think that's
totally going to bring her to the top of the show. But
and the question is, can she access it? Like, does she have an eye for it? As she has like an eye for character and an eye for makeup. Does she have an eye for fashion? And because we know that she comes from a background that is limiting in far as what she's able to obtain and what kind of fashionable look she's able to produce. And she decided at some point very early on in her career to really pursue the kind of conceptual makeup pieces rather than try desperately to live up to some sort of fashion standard. But the question is, does she have a knowledge base that allows her, when given the opportunity, to capitalize on kind of fashionable aesthetics? And at this point in the competition, I'm leaning towards no.
And I want to point out, though, it's that we're not talking, when we talk about fashion, we're talking about it on a curve. We're not talking about trying to have the most high fashion, high runway thing like that. Yeah. There's like a personal fashion and a personal aesthetic that is also something that's very valid and gets you very far.
Totally.
Like if you have your own personal style that you bring to the show, I think that almost gets you farther than just trying to have a magazine style.
Totally, I agree with that.
Yeah, anyway, I want to see her grow a little bit, and I'm glad that she has a bit to grow on. Because that means that she has something when the show gets a bit deeper in deeper water that she can. She has
places to go and to build and to grow and to shine. And that's what you need out of a contestant on the show: places to grow and places to shine.
Yeah.
Because she's shined very hard right out of the gate.
Yes.
And so the question is, can she shine in other elements of her drag? And I think we've not seen that yet. We've seen her do like a straight up glamour look, and it was good last week.
Yes.
It didn't shine.
No,
it didn't shine through.
Because it looked like the same thing that she wore the week previous.
Yeah.
This is what I will say. None of the outfits that the queens wore this week look like the outfits that they wore last week. But mostly because they had to build it, and I doubt that Peppermint had enough time to build a trench coat.
Yeah, true. All right.
So we'll see.
Well, moving
Who's next?
on.
Sasha Velour.
Sasha Velour.
Sasha Velour didn't annoy me as much this week as previous weeks. So I'll give you that. I still think that she's trying too hard. I still think
she is like reaching for the stars with her concepts.
So hard.
Holy cow.
And you know what? The concepts I'm okay with. I'm okay with having a high concept.
Yeah.
But it just seems like there's just a consistent level of just not disingenuous high concept.
Well,
I think it's the
problem
best
is she comes off as being pretentious.
Yes.
Her ideas come off very pretentious.
And I hate that.
Yes. Everyone hates that. No one likes pretension.
Some people do. Some people enjoy that.
I guess so.
You hang around in the theater crowd and you'll see a lot of that. People enjoy this pretension bullshit.
I think her concepts this week were fine. And I think she delivered more story through her character than she did through her outfit. I didn't really get the red. Like, is it blood? Is it brain? Like, what is going on
I don't understand what she had on her hands.
Yeah.
Because
or on her head. I mean, I understand the cage, and that worked into her story and being kind of...
Exactly, but I don't think it played into it enough to really warrant it being a statement piece.
Well, it just doesn't... What is the red on her head? What is all this red?
I don't know. I don't know what the streamers are in the hand. I don't know why her gown is so basic.
Yeah.
Like, I have an idea why it is, because she didn't have time for it. I don't understand. She's got, like, the pom-poms on the bottom of her. I don't get what she's trying to do with it. And I'm sure if you sat her down and you asked her, she would have some sort of pretentious, highfalutin story for every single thing. Well, the pom-poms represent the souls of all the people who were hurt by this imaginary thing.
Yeah.
And every single one of them, the blue ones represent this, and the black ones represent this, and they matter too.
That's true. Her character was well thought out and well executed.
I think her concept was thought out.
But I
don't think her execution.
Her
sidekick. Yeah, I liked her sidekick.
It was good.
I think it also was a nice different side of the coin from who she is as a drag character as well.
Yeah,
which I kind of enjoyed. All that.
What I thought was interesting is that she utilized her eyebrow style into that character in a way that was unique and different to what she does. And
it was great. That's why I like. I think I like the fact that she's like this different side of a coin.
Yeah.
That the duplicity
the
between
same
these two.
But different.
Exactly. I like that. Now, something that's really starting to bother me about her is she just seems to try to champion every single thing that comes up. And it bothers
What do you mean?
She anytime something sensitive pops up in there, she just tries to champion it. And she's really good at the interviews of trying to give the sound bites that cut her into it.
Yeah.
And even if she's not part of the story, if she feels like somebody is been harmed or is getting beaten up or persecuted or anything like that, she's definitely being a white knight. And I find that again very disingenuous of just trying to white knight everything.
That hasn't bothered me so much yet.
It just bothers me.
Yeah.
And I can understand how a lot of people could like that. And that's fine, and I don't care. You can. It's just I feel like it's just not you. It's not you.
Well, I mean, it's a part of you that you want.
Yes, exactly. And I have a problem with people who talk about change and they don't try to make change. And it's really difficult on this show to be able to be an active member of that. And I don't know. I'm kind of getting off on a tangent on this.
You're on some weird roll.
I'm on it, and I'm not going to keep going down that. It's just there's something about her that consistently bothers me, and I'm going to keep probably bringing that up until the end of the show. And if she's your favorite queen, God bless. She's just not mine.
Fair enough. So next up, we have Shea Coulee.
Shea Coulee, who came out today with something that I thought was absolutely spectacular. I loved the amount of work that she managed to be able to get done in the time allotted. This gown is spectacular.
It is spectacular.
Now, I think that she could have used boobs in it. She went flat chest. I think that was a mistake because you have such a figure, from the mermaid to the leg to the corset that was like really nice, and the way it was all cut together and put in there, to the neck piece, to the way the hair came up, everything about that. It just needed a little bit of heft in the
her mid piece is just wonderful though.
It's her mid piece and her neck piece are what really makes this.
Yeah, totally.
And that's not, underplaying the fact that she made a sequence gown.
Yeah.
And like this kind of sequence gown.
Yeah.
In such a matter of time. Yeah. And the fact, if you listen to the Untucked, she couldn't walk in that damn thing.
Yeah. Which isn't surprising.
Not surprising at all.
Yeah.
I think it's my second favorite piece on the runway after Charlie.
I think it's the best outfit. And it's hard for me to say. I really like it. Overall, it doesn't sell as much. Like, her hair and her face don't sell as much story as her outfit sells.
Yes.
So there's a little bit of disconnect there. However, I will say the runway does not do justice to her hair color choice, because the lighting on the runway really dumbs down the color of that hair.
Agreed.
In the Untucked, the juxtaposition between that red that she chose and her blue is wonderful. It pops so heavy.
And the thing of the runway is, I think there's a again, here we should be getting a little geeky about this. There's a color temperature difference between the Untucked space and the workroom space. The Untucked space is a lot warmer and it's a lot colder on the runway, and they do that specifically. And I think that, I find it a little bit off-putting. I wish that they managed to be able to have two complementary warm and cool looks for the runway. Yeah. That they'd be able to choose which one would complement the outfit best.
Yeah, I agree with
that. Because
at
this point, this outfit doesn't pop as much just because of the amount of blue backlight that's going on. The blue backlight doesn't really pop the blue dress as much. The blues in the backgrounds just don't work with the dress so much.
Yeah.
But it's spectacular.
Yeah.
And it sparkled and shone and was well crafted. And the course, I can't.
Overall, I'd say this is like a very good design challenge. Again, coming back to this idea that because it's split, because the reason that she wasn't in top 3 is because her character was just such a throwaway. Like, who cares? It's so like typical and boring. It doesn't play at all into what she's selling on the runway.
Agreed.
Like, the aesthetic choices of her sidekick character make no sense to the aesthetic choices of her runway.
It's very generic. She's a very generic, a ballerina princess. Yeah. And I think that's something that I also praise Charlie on. Charlie was able to have a character that fit as a sidekick to a princess.
Yeah.
And she was able to crack jokes, but the jokes weren't really derivative.
Yeah.
They were smart jokes. And I felt like in this character especially, and in other characters in here, there's a lot of queens that just like to go for the easy Uranus. Like they just go for the simple, the simple joke, the easy laugh.
Yeah.
And again, that's easy. And I don't know, as somebody who does comedy sort of on the side whenever I'm on a stage, I don't like the simple laugh. I like to have the roller coaster of it. But Shea Coulee, we were talking about last week how a lot of people are really into Shea Coulee and that we weren't really feeling it.
I feel it now. And
we said we were going to watch it this week. And this is what people are seeing.
Yeah.
And if she continues to do this, this is something. This is something this is something dangerous. This is dangerous in the competition.
Well, just like even if you look at her, knowing that she can't walk, but that pose, like she's living up there, right? Like, it's beautiful. And like that is the look of a winner. Right there, which you can see and counts for a lot. If you look like a winner when you walk that runway, you get far, and she definitely has that, and that is a huge asset for her going forward.
Definitely a huge asset. Up next,
we have the wonderful
Valentina.
Valentina.
Oh, she played the Mamacita Carita Candle Lady. She prayed to her so much.
She prayed to her so much.
Okay, just put the picture up.
It's there.
Madonna. Early Michelle Pfeiffer. Early Michelle Pfeiffer. Fucking chick from Saved by the Bell in Showgirls.
But did she rhinestone her leggings? Her tights?
I love this look.
It's great.
I think that it's spectacular.
Oh, yeah.
I love her makeup.
Yeah.
She's giving me, like...
She looks
late
so
80s,
good.
early 90s, high fashion realness.
Knows how to make herself look good all the time.
And it makes so much sense why why queens are giving her such a hard time.
Yeah, because it's
goddamn.
Yeah, it's brutal. Like everyone else is like working so hard for it, and she just like
she has it.
Yeah, she does have.
She has an it factor to her. And as much as I am getting annoyed by, she shaved her eyebrows, so she did this really dramatic thing where she put like the head turban on.
No, I loved every second of that.
This is where me and you differ, my friend. This is where me and you differ. You fucking love that stuff. You absolutely love it, and I cannot stand it.
That's to me like
I can't stand it.
I loved it. It was so smart. It was so perfect for television. She like channeled her insecurities about the fact that now she had no eyebrows, where she had never had that before.
Oh my god!
Into this like old Hollywood, like I'm hiding behind my big sunglasses thing, which is where like that comes from. That's phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal.
Phenomenal. We have to pause for a second.
Yes, we do.
Because what happened was my webcam just crashed, and it's actually.
So they still hear us online?
Yeah, they're still hearing us.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah, they're still hearing us.
Hey, two of you.
And this right here. So anyway, this is actually a good chance. If anybody has any things to say in chat, folks who are watching.
We lost half of our audience with that. That one person that's sticking by. Thank you.
Gonna pop a little test in there. Perfect. Okay, just popping a test in there.
What do you got to do?
Okay, so I have to just take this for a second.
Oh my god, I'm gonna narrate. So Velvet is now finessing the digital equipment we have here, rubbing it with her hands.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for the narration. Maybe this will make it in the end of the. Maybe this will make it to the end of the podcast.
Our technical problems.
Yeah, we'll
Toronto, my neighbor. Laugh out loud.
All
Hi.
we gotta do is
Totoro. I read Toronto because it's what I want to see.
There we go.
Oh, we're back. We're almost back. Totoro, hold on for another second. You'll be able to see our beautiful faces again.
No. It's not even a second. It pops up instantaneously. Now, I used to end up being screwed by this because I would have to. What's
up? We're ready for our close-up, Mr. DeMille. I'm like riffing on the line that Valentina was riffing off. See, what I did there was a segue right directly back into our conversation.
Oh my god!
And you ruined it again.
Oh my god!
I'm waiting. You got it.
You got it. No. There's a delay. There's a delay. There's a delay in the stream. So there we go. You got to see some of my desktop icons.
Yes.
And that's what's going on. So Totoro, my neighbor.
Yes. Hi.
How's it going? Do you have any? Do you want to ask a question in the middle of this before we get back into it, or do you think it's going to throw off our?
No, we're going to go. But if you want to,
if you have a question,
we will promise
toss
to
it up.
Answer it.
We'll answer it. We'll answer it either now or in the show.
Yeah. No, but I think we need to get back into the show.
Okay, do.
I think that's important.
I'm waiting. Great. Okay, thank you, Totoro neighbor, and we're going to get back in there.
Pressure, exactly. That's what I was worried about.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're back, right? We're totally back.
We're totally back.
Okay, cool. What were we saying about Valentina? We were talking Madonna. We're talking her look.
I just love that she was able to turn a moment that was difficult for herself and an insecurity for herself into like a moment to shine with Rue. Like she owned that moment with Rue in an interview moment, and it gave a lot to Rue. Gave a lot of personality, gave it a lot of character and humor to Rue, and I think that means a lot because like Rue's the biggest judge, right? And so if you're able to connect with Rue in a moment like that, I think that is huge.
And we saw that twice. We saw that two queens really connect with Rue in the runway, in a way that was, speaks very strong for what is going to be happening in the future. Future episodes of the show and be able to do that. But Valentina, they're eating up everything that Valentina is serving on the runway. Valentina has the right amount of confidence. This is the amazing thing. Valentina is the youngest, the amount of in terms of drag time, the youngest drag time in the entire competition.
Yeah.
But she's not crumbling.
No.
Even under the pressure of the older queens coming for her in the back.
Yeah.
And that's amazing. It's amazing to see that amount of maturity.
For sure.
In such a package that hasn't been seasoned that long.
We only saw her attack for real for the first time this week in the Untucked, and she handled it quite well. She didn't go barking off to defend herself. She just kind of, she did the old water of a duck's back.
Yes.
And I think that was successful for her this time around. I think she will need to learn how to stick up for herself a little bit. I mean, these queens are big personalities and they're very catty. So you got to be real with them. If they're trying to step on you just because they feel bad about themselves,
you can't let that happen.
You can't let that happen. And she kind of let it go down, but everyone could see what was happening. Aja was having a self-destruct moment.
Yes.
And so Valentina made the right choice. We all like, look, I'm not going to get fucking caught up in your downward spiral right now.
That's right.
And Aja had her little spin out.
What I really liked about how she handled herself in the Untucked is they attacked her, and then she pulled back.
Yeah.
But she wasn't afraid to get back into it after.
Yeah, she didn't exit.
No, she didn't exit. She just said, you know what, that's your opinion.
Yeah.
Let you have your moment.
Yeah.
But she re-engaged after everything was done. And that's again,
she didn't get scared away, which is a big deal.
Yes.
It's a huge deal.
Yes. Big deal. Loved her outfit.
Yeah.
Loved her makeup. She looks absolutely stunning.
Totally.
Michelle Pfeiffer. That's what I see.
Yeah.
Early Michelle Pfeiffer, like Batman Returns days.
Yeah. Now again,
that's what's going on.
Character and story definitely secondary to how she looks out there.
That's true. Do you think she looks like an ice princess, though?
I don't see ice. I mean, I kind of. I mean,
I kind of see ice.
I kind of see ice. I just feel like if you're going to go ice, you need to bring in a little bit of blue. There needs to be touches
I don't know.
of blue.
I think you can do it in white. She looks. You know what? I think the thing about it was I think she just needs more of a statement piece on the entire thing.
Yeah, she does need a statement
basic.
piece. She needs a really clear, like, holding a purse that is an icicle kind of thing.
Well, I don't know. Maybe even if she took that shrug, like she has that frosty shrug that she's wearing with it. Maybe if instead of it just being very small, if it was just down a little bit more, like it had a bit of a train.
I think the best thing about her outfit is the way that shrug works. It's very short. It just kind of like it frames her upper body.
Yeah.
And it gives her shape in a very interesting way.
I just wish. Okay, toy with me here for a minute. Okay, so imagine that shrug came down. Imagine the shrug came down to the waist, and then the waist came out to like a sheer train that came across the back. It wouldn't take away from the silhouette. It would just add a little bit of whimsy as it goes down to the back.
Maybe so.
I don't know. I just think that there could have been a little more snow stuff.
Icy stuff. I think that's where we're heading here. I think she should have avoided the term ice princess. I think she's going snow princess and brought in a couple of snow elements, and I think she would have killed it. And then she could have made her sidekick character a snowflake, and then I think she would have won.
Potentially. There's a good potential there.
Yeah. Anyway, she is super strong. It's crazy.
Yes.
And we have not even seen her falter a little bit yet.
No, not even. And I'm interested to see what happens when she does falter, because I think that every queen needs to have that moment.
Well,
even though
she's definitely going to have it because her lack of experience, she's going to come up against that, I think, relatively soon when they start calling. I think they're going to start calling her, if maybe not in the next couple episodes, maybe like 5-6 episodes from now, they're going to call her on bringing the same kind of pretty look to everything. Michelle's going to be like, I want you to give me something that's dirty because that's not something that Valentina is really geared towards. And I think she's going to be called upon to do that. And the question is she going to be able to deliver on something that is drastically different than what she does so naturally? And I think that's going to be what's going to make or break her. If she can't do that, then I might be the last day for her.
She's got a huge it factor, though. She's got a huge it factor. I'm like,
totally.
You're talking, and there's a picture of her in front of me, and I'm captivated.
She's amazing.
Like,
don't get me wrong.
It's amazing.
Don't get me wrong. All I'm saying is that's going to be her weakness. Is she going to be able to deliver something other than exactly what that is, which is great. Yes. And no one's going to get sick of that except for Michelle, who is notorious for being all like for calling out samesies.
And I also think, and again, I got to do this because I go so hard on Sasha that I do think that there are elements of the same thing that I find off-putting about Sasha in Valentina.
In what way?
Well, I think that she's definitely putting on a disingenuous character when she's out of drag. And I think a lot of that has to do with, like she was doing in the runway where she's wearing the glasses and that kind of stuff. What she's doing in interviews where she's wearing the beret and all that kind of stuff. Like, I feel like she's adding character when she should be trying to be more herself. And I'm wondering what's going to happen whenever she has to be more of herself and peel away those what I feel are protective layers. And I know there's a huge difference between what Sasha's doing and what she's doing, because I think Sasha lives in it.
Yeah,
Sasha lives in it and she's steeped in it. And I think that Valentina,
she's using it as a shield every so often.
She'd use it, yes. And I think that it's going to hinder her when it finally comes down to trying to figure out who she is as a queen and as a person.
Maybe, but I think though, I think that's part of drag, is like, in doing drag, you're using drag as a bit of a shield to the world. And so I think that her instincts towards that are so solid and good. The decisions that she makes when she kind of utilizes that shield are great, and they speak volumes, but it also lets her kind of come out of it a bit. You know, she did reveal herself to Rue, and she was able to have a real discussion with Rue about it because she felt safe, and she created a safe space for herself. And I think that's like a big deal. So I don't know. I disagree with that reading of it. I think it's only going to be good for her, because even if she does get called on it, I think she'll be able to let it go a lot easier, having already put it out there. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's weird because it's sort of nebulous in terms of that. I think she kind of, it's not 100% there, but it's something that is there.
Yeah.
And I think she's not being as true to who she is as a person out of face as
what I think is true is that all eyes are on her.
Yes, 100%. Everybody. Yeah. All the queens are now looking out for her.
Yeah.
And that was the prevailing story of this entire episode, is that all the queens are looking over their shoulder and being like, this bitch.
Yeah.
And it's not a matter of her kind of hiding in the background.
Yeah.
And she's front and center.
Yep.
And I think she's target number one, especially for a lot of these queens that are older and understand.
Which what we saw coming out of Aja. Aja came right for her as soon as they got back to the back room in the Untucked. Just tried to rip her a new asshole.
Yes.
And it wasn't even like your shit. It was that, like, they just love everything you do, and like, fuck.
This is the thing that interests me the most about Aja. Aja came into the show, even another queen on the show, mentioned how Aja is who's everybody is talking about in Brooklyn. Everybody in Brooklyn is talking about Aja. Now Aja gets on the show, and nobody in the show is talking about Aja, and everybody in the show is talking about Valentina.
Yes.
And that is a problem for Aja and Aja's ego. That's a huge issue for Aja's ego. And you can tell that Aja's ego is huge because she's not listening.
Well, because also it's her ego and that presence that comes with the ego. That's what I think everyone is talking about in Brooklyn, because she is such a presence. When she is in a room with you, like, you feel her.
Yes, and some people think that drag queens, the main thing that a drag queen's gig is to turn the party.
Yes.
You go in there and you turn the party.
Yes.
That's your job. And I can see how Aja would be the queen that comes in there and turns the party.
For sure.
And they again, I'm going to stop harping on her makeup so much, because it's not something that I'm just seeing. It's something that's everybody seeing. So we're not, you
have to talk about it a little bit, because
I know.
It's so off in so many ways.
It's so off. It is. Her lip is painted like the subway, the
clown.
It's just not.
She goes so far over.
Yes.
And it's just not like, you have to dial it back a bit.
A lot.
Because I think, okay, I'm going to say it. I'm going to come out right out and say it, all right? She has a very challenging face.
She does.
She has a face that typically would be considered ugly.
Yes.
And she uses that in her kind of boy kind of persona, I think, as part of the way that she kind of owns a room, whereas she kind of like stands up to it and isn't afraid of herself, or that's what she's kind of pushing forward. But in the way that she paints herself, she is just trying to block out her face, and that's not how you beat a face.
Well, it is. In some ways it is.
But not the way that she's approaching it. She's approaching it being all like, I'm going to pretend like my lips are like not even where they are.
Well, okay, look, the thing about overdrawn lips is you can do it. You can make overdrawn lips.
Yes.
The problem is she's not doing an overdrawn lip properly.
No.
Because, again, an overdrawn lip needs to have a hard line on the outside. Like, you need to line it, and then you need to fill it in, and you actually need to blend that whole thing in. Where what she did is she just basically drew, like, where she wanted her lip to be on her face, and then filled the entire thing in. But you can see her mouth throughout the entire lip.
Yeah.
You need to an overdrawn lip should actually be part of your mouth. Like it should come down, and it should stop where your mouth stops, but pull it a bit out.
But this is what I'm saying,
you should
though.
have that black that goes into it.
You have to use what you have.
Agreed, yes.
And then you accentuate in the way that you want to see it, not in the way that it naturally accentuates. You're changing the accentuation of what you have. And that's what beating your face is all about, because you have to work with what you got, because that's how it works. You can't work with like, you can't pretend that your face is a blank slate, because it ain't.
Depending on your level of makeup skills, then yes.
True.
If your makeup skills are super high level, then you can do whatever the fuck you want to your face.
Yes.
But in this situation,
depending
with
on
Aja,
the angle of the camera.
Yes, but she never had to deal with the camera until now.
No, I know.
So in Aja's case, she's just painting the way that she wants to paint, and I have a problem, and I'm going to stop allowing this to be an excuse for queens when she just walks in and says, "I'm Banji." That just seems to be the number one excuse that every queen puts up whenever they're non-polished.
Yeah.
If they're not polished, they just say, "Oh, I'm Banji. I'm Banji," and that's what it is.
Yeah.
And that's not Banji.
No.
That's just, you don't have the skills and you don't have the confidence to say that you don't.
Yeah.
And admit it. And again, she's a queen that I want to see come back in 2 or 3 seasons when she's had a chance to really get to know.
Well, I think it's going to be an interesting week for her next week because she had such a vibrant meltdown in the back room, and then because all the queens have an affection for her, and because she did win the lip sync, I think a lot of people are going to be really willing to help her next week, especially with the eye thing, because that came out in the Untucked. There was a lot of discussion around the way she paints her eye. I think a lot of people are willing to help her. The question is she going to be able to ask for it? Is she going to be able to accept it? And I think that is going to be a real story for next week.
The one thing I will say, she took her nose ring out, which I think is good, because if she had her nose ring on with the way that her lip is painted, she would have had the same problem this week, except her mouth would look like a red asshole instead of a brown asshole, like it did last week. I don't know. There are things that she does that really help her face, but she just doesn't blend it out enough, and she just needs to fix her. I don't know. I don't want to harp on her makeup too much, because everybody's doing
well,
that.
Then let's harp on her costume.
I'm going to harp on her costume.
What the fuck?
I have no fucking clue what was going on there, especially since in the show she's talking about how she sews everything that she does.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm going to make this high-fashion volcano.
Yeah.
And whenever she had all of her stuff on the table, too, it looked like she had, like, the ruffles and stuff like that. I was expecting to see, like, layers and lava and in pop and stuff like that, and I got none of that when she came out.
I kind of like her coat. Like, I dig fun fur coats, and so, like,
rock
on.
But
it's
no.
Her top is dreadful.
Her traps are dreadful, and her panty is dreadful.
Awful.
And whenever they brought up the fact that her panty was dreadful, she's like, sew me one. It just, I don't.
Yeah.
Everything about her came off wrong.
Yeah.
And I don't think that she's long for this competition.
No, neither do
I don't, because I don't know how much. I mean, next week will be the week to see.
For sure.
To really find out. But if she's not able to temper herself and be able to start taking criticism, then we have a thing going on.
I agree.
And last but not least, we have our last queen.
We have Trinity Taylor,
who brought out, again, another fantastic outfit on the runway.
Boom.
Okay, before I talk about Trinity,
I
love this starfish thing. It reminds me, and now I don't know how many of you guys are Canadian or listeners, not as many Canadian listeners out there.
Yeah.
But this starfish reminds me of all those shitty characters that they would put on TVO and those kids shows that we would watch so much. Yes. Yeah. It reminds me so much of all of those shitty fucking characters that we would get in children's television where they do the live action Today's Special stuff. Yeah. And I absolutely adore it. I adore it so much.
No, it is absolutely fantastic. I think I do still like Nina's a little bit more because I was so captivated by it. But I think aesthetically, I think Trinity killed her sidekick character.
See, what I like about
she put detail into it. No one else put any detail to it. In fact, no one else made a complete character.
That's what I was about to say.
All of that is hers.
All of that is hers, and they animated bubbles around that, which I think is great.
Yeah.
It's spectacular. She is the deserving winner of this entire thing.
No question.
Because I do think, while her runway outfit is not my favorite.
No. But it's strong.
It's so strong. It had a reveal.
Yes.
It was strong. She was under the sea. She had the gown.
Yeah.
She had the swimsuit.
Yes.
So she was doing day and night, or beach or beach wear and evening gown.
That's right.
It was nice.
It was super nice.
And we were also talking about how Alexis did her makeup and how she did the pale with the blues.
Yep.
Well, she did the exact same thing, except she did a fucking body paint.
Yeah, she did.
legs, arms, the whole nine.
With
detail. Yeah. Amazing level of application. I love the hairpiece.
The hairpiece
going in
and the arm piece are fantastic.
All adds in, and it was a swimsuit look, but there was so much to it that it wasn't just a swimsuit.
But you know what made it work? Because she's doing an underwater character. You can do a swimsuit look with an underwater character. That is a legit choice.
Yep.
And that is the most appropriate swimsuit look I think we've ever seen.
It's
also, the most complete swimsuit look I think we've ever seen, with the headpiece and the starfish and the whole thing. It really, again, you want to talk about old Hollywood. This to me is like old, like water dancing Hollywood movies.
Yeah.
She's living it.
Yeah. And you could also say in this, when you normally see the swimsuit looks, you don't see the work that went into it. But you can definitely see the work that went into this whole look together. Like, you can see that. And I thought that was absolutely spectacular for it. And this is something I'm going to say, because of all the silicone that she's had pumped in every single inch of her body, this look was especially like easy to execute because she didn't have to pad her hips. So she was able to paint the skin of her hips and go down. So I'm just going to call out some cheating bullshit here. Now, you have to live this way. So that's just that's what you get. But I love this look. I loved what she's doing. I loved what she did in the episode as well, because she made it clear. She had a really good Kai session with Rue.
On
the and I haven't seen
is like
Rue
living for her.
I haven't seen Rue laugh that much. And now there's one thing that has to be said.
That
has to be said. This was supposed to be a chocolate starfish.
Yes.
Okay. Now, if you remember episode 1. Alex Woodside, we got into a bit of a debate
about whether or not
the sun looks like an asshole.
Well, no, we all decided the sun did look like an asshole.
Well, the sun doesn't look like an asshole, but anyway.
No, her outfit looked like an asshole.
Her outfit did look like an asshole, but it looked like an asshole, not the sun.
But there's no questioning that her outfit looked like an asshole.
Yes, that's right. And it was
the only debate was that wonderful or terrible?
Yes, true.
And I think wonderful.
Yes. I think it was wonderful too. But we just had like this weird thing where we're talking about the sun as asshole. Anyway, I think she might have a bit of a what do you think about her and assholes? Do you think?
Of course she has an asshole thing.
I guess. I don't know why I brought that up like it's some sort of news.
Like, whoa.
Yeah. Do you think that
drag queen likes assholes?
Yeah, but do you think this is going to be a motif for her as the show goes on?
Fuck, I hope so.
Oh my God, this is Sasha, Trinity Taylor, the asshole queen.
Yes. Trinity had a huge week outside of the runway as well. She was the winner on everywhere. She was the winner in the workroom. She was the winner in the Untucked, and she was the winner on the runway. So she just slayed this week.
This is what I really loved. I liked, in terms of like the construction of the episode. That at the beginning of the episode, they were like, Valentina, everyone's looking for Valentina. They did a Trinity Taylor thing where Trinity's like, look, I'm coming for you. With the Rue thing, I'm coming for you.
I love that. I love that so much.
Right?
Total power play.
Total power play. Went through that, set that the whole thing up, that I'm coming for you, I'm coming for you, I'm coming for you. And then at the end of the episode, came for her. And took the win.
But not only that,
which is huge.
And this is it. And so we're going to transition into our I fucked it up. Okay.
That's staying in the show. You better keep talking. I'm not cutting that out.
Into the power rankings.
Yes.
Because what she did, so she called out Valentina at the beginning of the episode, said, I'm going to come for you. But then, you know what she did in the Untucked? She came for Aja while Aja was letting loose on Valentina. Trinity is the one that laid the tea out. She came out and she gave a whole fucking speech to Aja, being all like, girl, look, you got to get your shit together. And she is the one that shut down Aja's tailspin in defending Valentina. Because you're like, look, you can't come for her like that, girl, because this isn't about her, it's about you.
No, what I like about that moment that happened in the Untucked is she's one of the premier pageant queens that we have on the show. And she said it herself. Now, she doesn't seem to be that catty pageant queen that's going to throw pearls on the ground and make you trip.
No.
It seems like she enjoys honorable competition. And
sometimes that means calling a bitch out.
Exactly.
But putting you on point.
Exactly. But this is the thing. She sees Valentina as competition.
Yes.
And even though she's Valentina is a newer queen, she's not going to She's not going to belittle her.
No.
And she's not going to let anybody else come for her just because she's young.
Yeah.
Because that's her competition.
Yeah.
And if she's going to win this competition, she wants to take her down fair and honorably.
Yeah.
And I think it's huge respect. That's exactly what she did this week.
Because they both came out there and they both looked great. But fucking Trinity came out there and looked better.
That's right.
And she looked more polished, and she had more ideas that were executed in her story, and she won fair and square.
She won fair and square. No shade, nothing. And she also showed levels, and this is another reason why. She's that pageant queen, and I think that pageant queens coming into the show do have that built-in storyline where, who's a pageant queen, and is that pageant queen going to, stop just trying to be pretty all the time?
Yep.
Like, there's that built-in story that a pageant queen has, and she's already breaking with the generic story of the pageant queen now, and I think she's moving on to just telling the story of Trinity as opposed to telling the story of the pageant queen in Drag Race.
Yes,
and I think that's a big deal, and I'm excited to see where it's going to go from here and how that's going to evolve.
So I'm going to say this, for me, there's no question in my mind, with all the work she did this week, she is at the top of my power rankings.
Yeah, we're talking power rankings now, right? Power rankings, that's what's going on. She's 100%. She's number 1. Valentina's number 2.
Yes, I would. Well, would I agree with that? Would I agree with that? Tell me. Talk to me.
Okay, Valentina's number 2. Everybody's gunning for Valentina.
Okay.
Now, see, here's the thing.
All eyes are on Valentina.
That's right. Now, this is why. So, Trinity is number 1 in the power rankings because while she's gunning for Valentina, she's already proven that she can best Valentina.
Yes.
All the other queens in the show have yet to prove they can best Valentina.
That's true. That is true.
Right? So everybody else is looking at that and they're going, this queen, this young queen is already doing better than me.
Yeah.
And they haven't proven that they can be better than her.
Yeah.
But Trinity has proven that they can be better than her. So I think it's going to be difficult.
It's the mere fact that Valentina is the yardstick right now.
Yes.
And everybody knows it. That's why Aja freaked out on her.
Exactly.
Because you're like, how the fuck are you the yardstick? That is so fucked up.
Yeah, I should be the yardstick is what you're saying. Yes.
Exactly, right?
So it's going to be difficult. It's going to be interesting to see. Again, this goes back to the power game. It's going to be interesting to see how that power of Valentina, the aura of Valentina, that knowing that everything that the judges do, they're eating Valentina up.
Yeah.
How are the queens going to handle dealing with that? Are they going to Trinity Taylor or are they going to Aja?
Yeah. And speaking of Aja, I'm just going to say right now, 100% on the bubble.
No. We're going to talk. Let's continue with this.
Motherfucker.
I know.
Motherfucker.
I don't think she's on the bubble.
You don't think she's on the bubble?
No. I have another queen that thinks on the bubble. Anyway, so that's number 1 and number 2. Number 3. Who are we going for number 3? So let's throw out some names just to get in there.
Can you put Shea out there?
Shea?
A little bit of Shea Coulee.
Why do you think Shea Coulee?
Because I think she was a presence when she came back from the Untucked. I think the fact that she was up there in the top 3 threw a lot of them for a loop. But she came back there and she owned it. And so I just felt something from her this week. And maybe that's just my perception of her because I finally saw something kind of through.
Yep, that's fair.
And that's why I'm throwing that out there.
I think that Charlie Hides.
Okay.
I'm going to throw names out. Charlie Hides.
Okay.
I mean, Eureka is always is always somebody who's in there.
Yes.
Charlie Hides, Eureka, and I think those are the 2 names that really pop up there. So yeah, maybe if you want to put Shea in there too. Charlie for the mere reason that I think Charlie in the back, in the Untucked, really shines and really doesn't take shit and has a tendency to pull things in there. But you know what? I think I got to pull Charlie off that list. I think that Alexis Michelle should be on this list.
Well, it's the other name that's floating around my head is Alexis because I see so much strength there, but I don't know how she's executing that yet. I don't see a lot of gameplay from her.
Well, she was playing some game in the back.
Yeah.
She was playing some game in the back where she was convinced that Aja was a winner, and she was driving a lot of that conversation.
She was driving a lot of that conversation.
There's a conversation driving that's going down there.
Yeah.
She looked fantastic.
She looked amazing.
I think that she's she's sort of a sleeper. Like we know that she's going to be something.
Yes.
But she hasn't actually blossomed on the show yet. And the reason why I think she's a sleeper is there's always that queen who's like really talented and has all that kind of coasts early and then peaks mid-season.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling that she's going to be the one that's really going to take that step out mid-season.
Yeah, I think so too.
But where does that fit in the power rankings? I don't know.
It's hard.
I think Eureka's probably pretty low this week, though. Eureka kind of had
she didn't do a lot.
Slow week. So if Eureka's on the list, I can't see her being much more up than maybe 5.
Yeah.
So Eureka number 5, what do you think?
Yeah, I'll say yes to
anything just to get Eureka on your fucking list.
That's right. That is correct.
So we're looking for 2 more. I think that Alexis should be number 3. Alexis Michelle. Because we haven't talked about anybody else.
Yeah, but that's us, right? And it's not about us.
It's about the show?
Well, it's about their power going into next week's episode.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's what I think makes it really tough. And so, like, Shay was top 3, and I think that's what gives her edge because everyone else is going to be looking to that.
Okay, well, what do you think about putting Aja on this list?
Okay, well, then we have to have the other discussion first. Because I still feel like Aja's on the bubble.
Aja's not on the bubble.
Who the fuck's on the bubble?
Pheromone.
Oh, you think Pheromone's on the bubble? Pheromone's definitely not on the power rankings.
She's not on the power rankings.
Yeah.
She's shown a lot of trepidation. She showed a lot of timidness.
Yes.
Under pressure, she's not all that great. But she got a little bit of a warning. She got a shot off the bow.
Yeah.
On this episode.
Okay.
Is she able to pop off the next thing? Are you only saying that because then you want to put Aja on the top 5?
Well, no, I just think you make a good point for Pheromone. I think she is more likely to go home next week.
Correct.
If she continues the way that she did this week. Whereas if she's able to take those notes, then I think she's able to catapult herself forward numerous episodes as the result of taking the notes and becoming stronger.
Exactly.
And I think you're correct about
that. Because the person on the bubble is not always necessarily what person that's in the bottom 2 or the person who loses or wins the lip sync.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily the case.
No.
And when I was watching this episode, I was like, oh man, that's not necessarily. I was thinking about the bubble this whole time.
Yep.
And I thought, oh man, I really wanted to put Farrah on the bubble, but Farrah's got a lip sync. And I don't want it to always be the person who wins the lip sync. Because I always thought that if Farrah and Kimura lip sync, Farrah's probably going to win.
Yeah.
But I was really happy to see that Aja was going to be in the lip sync and then Farrah put down there because Farrah is definitely on the bubble.
Yeah.
She's at a crossroads in the competition.
Okay, so I agree with you there. So then the question becomes, is Farrah's outburst deserving of power ranking because she was shut down?
Aja's outburst.
Yes, Aja's outburst. Does it put her on the power ranking because she was shut down and she was basically ignored by Valentina?
That's true. But she made her presence known.
Yes.
She made her presence known. She made big waves, and she was talking tea.
And she does have a lot of... she was talking tea.
She was not like she was just taking shots to take shots.
She did call out Valentina in a real way.
Yes.
And not in a way that was kind of like at fault to Valentina, but is something that probably everyone in that room is thinking about.
So the question is, does that fiery attitude that she brought out on Untucked, does that translate into the next episode?
That's true.
That's the thing, and that's why I think she might be on the power rankings going in. I think maybe number 4. She did more than Eureka.
Yeah, that's true.
You agree?
I do agree.
So that's a thing. So now we need one in the middle.
That's the thing, though. I mean, like, who are we putting in there? I mean, we have Alexis, maybe. We have Shay, maybe. But I don't think Alexis really did anything this week to deserve to be on the power rankings.
Well, she's the one who she sparked all that conversation in the back.
She pushed some of that conversation, but she did spark it. But the conversation, there's always going to be a conversation, and they did go with the obvious conversation. But I don't know, and they all kind of participated in it. I mean, to me, I think that they are all looking at Shay and being like, what the fuck, is more deserving of a spot because she took spotlight away from them by doing her own thing. I think that's more powerful because that's what people are going to be reacting to. It's not just about what you say, because I think Alexis didn't set anyone off or single anyone out.
You're saying Shay Coulee?
I'm saying Shay.
Because what did she do?
She was on the top 3. I think the very fact that she was top 3 puts her up on the power rankings for me.
Was top 3.
Oh my God, you're so right.
That's why I'm so confused.
Sorry. Peppermint.
You think Peppermint should... Okay, so you're making a case for Peppermint.
I'm making a case for Peppermint.
Oh my God.
Sorry.
Okay. I see, the thing is, Peppermint was in the top 3. Peppermint had a story, but I don't feel like Peppermint wields power very well.
No. I don't know. I don't feel comfortable putting any... I think we should just go with 4 this week. That's my gut feeling.
You want us to go with 4 this week?
I do.
Okay, you know what? We'll go with 4 this week, and I know it might be a cop-out, but I feel like that's... I don't feel like anybody is really riding any sort of wave coming into next week's episode other than these 4.
Yes.
And we also have another whole matter of business to deal with.
Yes, we do.
Right now.
Yes, we do.
So first, before we go into calling our top 3s, Alex Woods, can you go over our top 4 and our on the bubble for the week?
Okay, so our power rankings are Trinity Taylor,
Valentina,
Aja,
Aja.
And Eureka. Our bubble is Pheromone.
That's on the bubble. Now, here we go.
That's right.
This is tough. This is tough as all get out.
Yes.
I know that me and you are going to disagree on at least one.
Okay.
Yes. Because Alex Woodson, in your top 3, you have Eureka.
Yes.
And I don't.
Okay. That's fair.
So why do you think that Eureka's on there? Is this totally personal bias that you're going to allow into?
I think because, look, we've established the fact that she is afflicted with the big girl curse.
Yes.
But the big girl curse has not started to affect her storyline in the show.
Not yet.
But it will.
Dangerously close.
But it hasn't really... It's not reared its ugly head in a detrimental way to her. Because she lives with that big girl curse in a way that's pretty fundamental to her character.
Mm-hmm.
And what I think that means to me is I think we're going to see the big girl curse play out in a long form on this season. I think we're going to see her play that out, and it's going to be her obstacle that she has to overcome to make it into the top 3 at the end of the season. That's my feeling about Eureka and the big girl curse, because I think she is bringing so much to the table. Now, again, she didn't have a fantastic week this week.
No.
And I can see why that's going to affect your opinion of her.
I haven't seen her have a really an overly fantastic week yet.
Maybe so, but I mean, there's only been 3 weeks.
That's true, but we make our calls at week 3.
We sure do.
And usually, like, whenever we make a call, we're pretty sure that Queen's got some legs.
Okay. Well, let's move on.
Okay.
And let's talk about I think someone who's pretty obvious.
Would you like me to guess your top 3? Because I can guess.
I don't think so, because I haven't labeled it out in my head. Like, I don't have my top 3 set in stone.
So then, are you going to say Valentina?
I was going to say Trinity as I think it's someone that we have to talk about, because I think Trinity is 100% on there.
I agree.
So this is
she's
going
definitely on mine.
On yours, she's definitely on mine, so I think she's definitely in the combined official list.
Yeah. Oh, is that what we're doing? Oh, I guess we have to make that combined official list, right?
Yes. That's always what we do.
That's true. That is always what we do, which means we're going to have to debate out Eureka.
The combined official list.
Yes, it's true.
Is what our
the combined official list is the official top 3. That's right. That's right. Yes. Even though we don't agree about Eureka, it's
well, we're not there yet. I already told you I don't have I'm not settled.
I know.
All right. So Eureka was on mine. Trinity was on both of ours. So who else are you throwing out there? Valentina. She's on your list?
Yeah, 100%.
I think that's fair. I think right now there's no question in my mind. I'm just going to quickly... So the other queens right now, Peppermint, Cynthia Lee, Pheromone, Charlie Hides, Alexis.
You see, Charlie Hides is on my list.
See, here's the other thing. Alexis is also someone I want to put on my list.
I know, and I want to put Alexis on my list as well, but at the same time, I have this problem, and I mentioned this problem earlier in the podcast. I set it up that I really, 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 really want to put Charlie Hides on my top 3 list. Badly. I really do. I really, really do. But I don't know if that's just me talking, or if that's me looking not at the show enough, because I
Well, here's the thing, okay? We got
this problem.
We have individual lists, and we have an official list.
That's true.
The names on the 3 lists do not need to be consistent. It doesn't need to be on your list to be in the official top 3.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
So my top 3 list is Trinity, Valentina, and Charlie Hides.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Okay.
Now, here's the thing.
But before you go on, I'm gonna say I agree. I think on the combined list, I think we need to put Valentina.
Yes. And I have to agree on the combined list, we have to put Alexis.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. I wasn't expecting that.
Because Alexis is my number 4. If I had a 4 on my official top 3, I'd put Alexis on there. And you have Alexis on your top 3 already.
Yeah, I do. I absolutely do.
So, like, in all honesty, now, Trinity, Valentina, and Alexis as the official top 3 is the smartest official top 3 that we can come into. Because on your list, your affinity for the big girl affects you putting Eureka in the top list. On my list, my affinity for the slightly offensive queen puts Charlie on my list. But overall, when we put our personal biases aside, when we set things aside for the betterment of womankind, when we put it aside, we get the official list, which is Trinity, Valentina, and Alexis, arguably the 3 strongest queens in the entire season.
Here's my problem.
What?
Here's my problem.
Nina Bobina's not on there.
Yeah, I just...
But I don't know if she can make it all the way. She doesn't have the fashions. What's your problem with that list?
I don't know.
You don't think there's enough?
No.
You don't think there's enough variation?
No, I think there is.
Yeah?
Yeah. No, I think it's a good list. I really do.
Right?
It's Trinity, Valentina, Alexis is the list to go with.
It's the strongest. They're the strongest.
I do feel like Alexis right now. I mean, like
Alexis is sort of on the knife's edge of those three queens.
Because I think
I agree.
I think she could be our first eliminated queen from our top three.
I agree with that. Yeah. I totally agree with that. But she has enough upsides in terms of her skill set that I think that it's going to be a tough time throwing anything at her that's going to throw her a curve. That's what I have a problem with. I think that the judges are going to have a problem criticizing her because, again, she made safe decisions this week. And I think even her bold decisions are going to be made from a station of just, kind of good thinking. So I do think Alexis, if somebody from this top three goes away, Alexis is probably the first one that's going to go away.
Yeah.
But Alexis just has too many upsides.
I just want to put Peppermint out there as a name in the mix.
Well, I mean,
because I think we're going to see a lot from Peppermint this season.
I don't disagree that we're going to see a lot from Peppermint.
Okay.
But so far in 3 episodes, Peppermint has showed us 2 trench coats, and I mean, I guess a top 3 look in the judges' eyes. But she showed us 2 trench coats. I don't know if she has that true personality to be able to go all the way in there. I do think that she's very smart in how she likes to bring a lot of her personal life into the choices she makes and puts on the runway. And I do think that's something that will get her pretty far on the entire situation. But I don't know. I can't justify putting her on there. I think she's going to make it far. I don't think she's going to make it top 3 though. And the same with Nina Bobina. Nina Bobina is the queen that everybody's talking about on this season.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
People say that they're not getting a feeling from a lot of other queens except for Nina Bobina. Nina Bobina is the queen that are giving everybody
I think that's going to be a different story coming out of this week,
giving everybody life. I hope so. I hope that's the case.
Well, because it wasn't a big weekend anyway for Nina Bobina.
No, it wasn't. But again, Nina Bobina expressed the fact that she understood that. And this is a big show. The cast is large. And at this point in time, you can't guarantee that you're going to make it on every moment of the episode at all times. So, I mean, that's just a natural part of what's going on.
No, for sure, for sure. Okay, so then we're locking it in stone?
I think so. I think so.
So in stone, the official combined top three list for RuPaul's Drag Race Season 9.
Season 9.
We're calling it now Trinity Taylor,
Valentina,
and Alexis Michelle.
I'm very confident in that list. I think that's one of the best lists that we've put together. And I was mulling it over the entire time. And there could be an argument. I don't think Trinity and Valentina, I'd be hard pressed for anybody to convince me against that. You can convince me against Alexis Michelle.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah.
I think that there are arguments to be made that somebody could take Alexis Michelle's part. However, I do think that Alexis Michelle has too many upsides.
I have such a gut feeling about Alexis.
Right? That's the thing. We got to go with that gut
She has
feeling.
been so strong aesthetically.
Yes.
From the get-go.
Yes.
And I just think if she shines, she's going to shine all the way through.
Yep. It'll definitely be. What do we see? So Alex would say we're going to start winding this episode down of the podcast.
Yeah.
What do you expect? What do you want from next week's episode? This is something I've been now asking.
I want to see a big group challenge next week. That's what I'm hoping for. Again, we don't watch anything before other than the episode and the Untucked before coming into this. So if you've already seen
what the challenge is, the preview,
we don't know. What I would like to see is a group challenge. Again, I know we had one last week. I'd like to see another group challenge now. Now is the time for group challenges.
It's true.
Big groups, big people, and the group challenges are great because that's where you get a lot of personality clashes. But personality clashes are good because they bring out the personality in the people who are sometimes quieter, because they're forced to kind of come up to these big personalities that are trying to take over their group and contend with them. And I think that's important at this stage in the competition. So that's what I'd like to see out of next week. And specifically, I'd like to see Alexis step up next week.
It has to be her week soon.
Yes.
Like, it's got to be her week very soon.
And I think, I don't know. I don't know how much patience I have left for the Aja situation.
I don't have much patience left for that as well. That's another reason why I didn't want to put Aja on the bubble, because she's consistent. She's been consistent in being who she is through this entire time, and hasn't been really taking notes all that well.
No.
And whenever we put a queen in the bubble, I kind of want the bubble to be a positive thing.
Yeah, true.
And I want to root for the person who's on the bubble.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to feel like they need to go away. So, again, next week I really want to see. I want to see a good week for Pheromone. That's what I want to see. I want to see a good week where she's able to go and bring some of that Broadway style, some of that Las Vegas style out into the runway.
Yeah.
I want to see her shine a little bit personality wise. That's really what I want to see next week. I want that positive story next week, and I do want to see Aja, try to mature a little bit and take some notes. That would be great. That would be great to see. But also, I do think that Charlie and Alexis, they need to step up. Yes. Right now, they've been playing a little bit way too safe.
Way too safe.
They've been like the big personalities lurking in the background. They're the Jaws.
Yeah.
They're the shadow of the shark in the water.
Yeah.
They need to come out and they need to do something.
Yeah, if they were just waiting to assess where everyone else is at, like, you've had enough time.
Yep, exactly.
Now you got to play the game.
Exactly. You have to. Especially whenever you have queens that have been so strong. Because so far, we've had 2 proper challenges.
Yeah.
Like, the first week was a challenge, but, I mean, it wasn't like...
It was more a showcase than a challenge.
It's a showcase, exactly. Yeah. So we've had 2 legit challenges the entire time.
Yeah.
And there's been 2 queens who have been in the top 3 for both of those challenges. Yeah. And they were both vying for top.
Yes.
So, I mean, they got to step it up. They got to look around and they got to step that up.
I agree. I totally agree.
That takes care of the podcast episode this week.
Sure does.
Talk Season 9, Episode 3 is in the can. Ladies and gentlemen, you can check out all of the stuff that we do at www.velvetvalhalla.com. That is the website where all this stuff posts. You can also go on the website and check out the VOD for our live stream we did of this very, very podcast. That'll be there forever in perpetuity, so you can look at his ginger beard, my purple hair, and Lelando's harness that I'm wearing. That's what's going on. If you want to donate, we have a donation link now all over the website. You can donate to us directly by PayPal. Any donation is fantastic and goes into helping us pay storage, because
shit costs money.
It's costing us money, and it has for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's got to go on. If you agree, we want to hear your top 3s. What do you think of the top 3? Because again, I think that I don't think we're going for a very controversial top 3. I think Valentine is pretty safe. And I think
there's a lot of people out there who have very different opinions right now than we do.
And I want to hear those. So velvetvalhalla@gmail.com is the email address. So you can post there. You can email there. I read every single email and get that kind of stuff going on, as well as, join us in any of the extra stuff that we have going on. So if you see the thread get posted up where I post the podcast, try to keep it spoiler free, but we have a comment thread there. Yeah. We have a comment section on the website as well. There's ways for us to communicate. We just want to hear from you guys. Who are your top 3 and why? That's the big reason. Why is the question? But that brings us to the end of this week's episode. Alex Woodside.
Tough love.
That's it, guys.
That is it.
That's what we got going on.
What up, Cole Parker?
Cole Parker, if you're still around. We got 2 people watching. And Totoro, my neighbor, or my neighbor Totoro, depends how your name is popped in. We'll take a couple questions as we have, we have about 10 minutes that we can sit on stream before we have to really take off.
I guess so. If anyone has any questions for us.
If anybody has any questions in chat, we'll take those. And as it stands right now, that's what we got going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my neighbor Totoro said that they're living for my destruction.
Well, I'm glad someone's living for your living of Sasha. You're a little fiery.
You know what? There's every season there's a queen that just rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah.
And Sasha is that queen. Sasha is the max of the season for me. Yes.
The Milk.
No. You see, Milk never bothered me. Milk was just an artist, but was never trying to stand on his soapbox.
Yeah.
Every single minute, second of every single of things. So I was okay with Milk.
Yeah.
Milk did some interesting stuff and has continued to do interesting stuff after the show is done, even though she's sort of, and she did it on the show too. She melds between doing draggy stuff and then doing genderfuck stuff, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
But I don't know, Sasha just doesn't. I just
think she lacks. I don't think she's giving real personality.
I agree. I don't think she's giving real personality at all. I think it's an issue, and I just have I have an issue with that. I have an issue with her just blindly defending every single thing that could potentially be offensive.
And again, I just don't. I guess I'm just not picking up on it as much. I'm just gonna go back to this just because I like.
Wait,
that.
what? I just like looking at the starfish man.
Yeah, his little mustache.
Yeah, you know what? Click it.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. You could look around.
This is just.
This is something.
Ridiculous.
This is something right here. Like she kind of looks like Yoda. It was like if Yoda was in drag.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, I like the face look. And I will say that.
Here or over here? Like on her or on her?
When are we gonna get Nina and Charlie's names right? Okay.
Wait, yeah, that's true. We've been like suffering. Nina Bonita Brown. I mean, like we've been fine with that.
I think Nina Bobina Osama bin Laden Brown.
Yeah.
Nina Bobina. Yeah.
I even sang the song in this episode. But yeah, Charlie, we just always fuck up.
Yeah, constantly. Charlie's just a constant fuck up.
Charlie hides, right?
I say Charlie hides.
Yes.
And you say Charlie Hinds.
Which I think I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
I don't know where I got that, but
I'm right. You're wrong.
That's where it came at me, and it just stuck in my brain.
Yep. I'm right and you're wrong. I just like saying that.
Yeah.
That I'm right and you're wrong. Yeah. So, you see, I like it whenever they perfectly line up because it's like, bow, 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 bow. They're just transforming into each other.
Yeah.
Morphin' time. That's great. Anyway. Yeah.
Totoro, what do you think? What do you think of Valentina? Do you think Valentina's going to go somewhere? That's what I want to know. I want to know if other people are feeling.
Totoro is with me though, with the whole Sasha Velour thing.
Yeah,
not into that Sasha Velour.
What
that queen
is this
cat in the water?
What is going on?
I just don't understand. She always accessorizes a little bit too much. Where do you see Shay in the scheme of things? I feel if she gets going, she will overtake Alexis and go top 3. And I agree. You know what? Again, on the last episode of the podcast, we talked about Shay.
Yeah.
And how Shay wasn't a queen that really kind of hit our radar. Because up until this point in the show, I don't really think that she brought anything totally memorable. But in this week's episode, wait, where is she in the list? She is right there.
Yeah.
Boom, Shay. I was going back and forth between that. This week, she definitely showed what everybody has been talking about whenever people are mentioning Shea Coulee.
Yeah.
When we're in our rounds in the show, and I do totally agree with you that Shea could overtake Alexis and go in the top 3 if she can continue to do what she is doing. Nina Bobina Brown.
Oh.
I think we were saying Bobina. Is that it?
But what's wrong with saying Bobina? I don't think.
I don't know. What do you want to do?
No, it's Bonina.
Nina Bonina.
Okay.
Oh, I wanted to delay due to having paused, by the way. You're in the after show. Oh, it's funny. Anyway, we were talking.
It's Bonina. Nina Bonita Brown.
Bonina.
Yeah, not Bob.
Maybe that's what we're saying. Maybe you're saying Bob Nina. Maybe it's a Canadian accent for people.
They probably just their accent.
Might be a Canadian accent that we don't hear.
Yeah.
But people down south might hear.
Yeah, because it's just after the song, Nina Bonita Brown.
Nina Bonita, yeah. Nina Bobina. Anyway, in the scheme of things, I can see Shea Coulee doing something in the show. Yeah. I think she's got a little bit of a ways to go. I feel like so far in the show that Shea Coulee hasn't 100%. I don't think she's Sean personality-wise yet.
Yeah.
I think that there's that small thing that's really leaving her behind.
Well, which is also true of Alexis, because Alexis hasn't shone yet either. So I think they're in very similar positions. I just can't see into Shay as much as I can see into Alexis. And maybe that's just because of the information that Alexis provided during her pre-interview, as well as dropping the fact that, like, honestly, for me, one of the biggest things is that the fact that she is a triple threat. She's like a musical theater person, brings so much to her tool chest for what she can do in this competition. Mm-hmm. It means that, like, in what is typically the most brutal challenge of the whole season, which is going to be the singing challenge or singing challenges, depending on how the season goes, and giving us VH1, I wouldn't be surprised if we get 2 of those. I think she's going to do very well in that episode, and that's a big up. If you can get through that episode without being put on the bottom,
yeah, it's true.
That's a big
up. You're going somewhere.
And the fact that she's used to performing, I think it's going to go well. This is part of the reason why I want to see a group challenge next week. I think if we have another big group challenge, that is a great field for Alexis.
Stick. But I also think it's a good measuring stick, because that shows whenever you're in that group situation, what's the cream that rises to the top.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. So Totoro, my neighbor, also said that Val may be the winner, but I do not enjoy the amount of character she's portraying in the confessionals in the workroom. That's what I brought up on the podcast this week, on how I feel like she's wearing those characters
I see.
the same way.
Oh yeah,
that
she brought
I
it
feel
into
like
the
Sasha.
weird, like the weird French
exactly right.
She's
always trying. She's never herself. Yeah. She always has that little element of something that they have that's going on there. She's always showing that the French with the beret. She wore the headdress with the big glasses. She's always just trying to obscure herself. So people are asking questions about her look as opposed to questions about her personality. And I think that's something. There's something there.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
But they cut to Val, so we got a whole bunch of things. So, Confessionals
Bonina,
Workroom.
that's what we're saying. Bonina.
And Untucked, she's also giving a character notice episode 2 when she's giving the feedback about how the judges loved her. And they cut to Val being judged, and Rue and the rest were deadpan about the mother story. It's very interesting. Yeah. So, I don't know. She's interesting. I think that Nina Bobina does have that... Or not Nina Bobina, fuck. We're talking about Nina Bobina and how we're not saying it right. But I do think that Valentina, I don't think you can do that.
I was just trusting.
I know. Valentina, I do think that Valentina has a little bit to grow in terms of a personality.
She has a lot to grow, but growing on the show is great, right? They keep you around if you are growing actively on the show, because that makes for great television. And it is what they're doing at the end of the day, is they're making television.
Yes, and you can't fault the show for trying to make things as entertaining as possible.
That's why we're watching.
That's why everyone watches it. And that's why everyone loves it. And everybody wants to cut to the truth of what it is. And
speaking of cutting,
the tea and all that stuff.
This episode, I really noticed how great the editing has become. In previous seasons, it's often annoyed me, but in this season, I think their editing has really stepped up. Their cutaways are much better. There was a moment in the episode, I think, when they cut away to Farah when someone was talking to Rue, and it just gave so much subtext to the scenario. I feel like I can see and understand and know a little bit more about what's going on in the workroom.
They also did some great shots in Untucked too, and they did some some great over the shoulder shots into stuff like that. I mean, again, these are things that we kind of talk about on the podcast, but
because we're in
the after show, so we can talk about what we want.
Also, certainly Raven and Delta are doing Rue's look. Oh yeah, we were talking about that last week.
I remember Matthew. I loved Matthew Anderson's Instagram. I followed that all the time because it was always interesting stuff. So this is a story that I've got. I had lunch with Lee Lando, and so the story is that Matthew Anderson asked for more money and got rejected. So he walked because he was like, you know what, VH1 money. I wanted some more. You didn't get it to me. I'm ready to walk out of this. And Raven and Delta walked in to fill in Matthew Anderson's shoes. And this week, I don't need cares. This week, though, I noticed that Rue looked fantastic. Rue's makeup was there. Everything was on point. Hair's on point. Everything about Rue's makeup this week was on point.
It's on point.
And it does go to show that Raven is legitimately one of the best true makeup artists to come out of the entire
I think it's where
series.
It's going to come down to is like the big Rue shine moment in the season, because they typically only do one or two where like it's just kind of like, because her level's always like very, very high.
Yes.
But they always pick a couple outfits every season that really just go over the top. There was like the airbrush kind of look a couple seasons ago.
I know, the panther dress.
The panther dress.
The panther on the runway.
Yeah, and so it's going to be, I think when we see that look from Rue this season, that's when we're really going to know where they stand in Raven and Delta's makeup job. Because it has to be next level. Because when you're doing Rue, you're like, your bar is the top. And so when you need to go over the top, that's the real challenge. Because it's hard.
It's very hard, considering there's also 8 other seasons. Of reference material you have to go into. So how do you paint Rue, make her still Rue, but put your own personal stamp on that? That's a good question.
I think the question to formalize it is: can Rue and Delta deliver?
Raven and Delta.
Sorry, Raven and Delta
deliver
an iconic Rue look this season.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for the tea.
Yeah. Oh, the Matthew Anderson team. She's on a delay. Or he's on a delay. You're on a delay. Yeah. Whatever pronoun you wish to use.
Totoro.
And fortunately,
is Totoro the character male or female? Does it have a gender?
I don't know.
I don't think it does.
You can't. You see, most rodents don't have a gender, like a. Well,
do you know what's weird? So friends of mine have birds, like they have like I don't know, parakeets or whatever.
Okay, yeah.
Basically, you can't tell if they're male or female. On some types of birds, unless they have like the peacocking.
Yeah.
You can't tell if they're male or female unless you get like a DNA analysis done.
DNA analysis?
Because it's just so like...
You can't just stick something up their butt or whatever?
No. Yeah, it's like very difficult. I'll figure out exactly what the bird that they have is. I just thought it was fascinating.
A DNA analysis.
And I think it plays into the whole kind of like gender fuck and like what is gender in kind of like the natural world. It's like sometimes there's just no way to know.
I'm glad you brought it back.
There's just no way to know.
I'm glad you found a way to brought it back.
Yeah.
Anyway, we gotta call this after show. We got a couple things we had to go get going right now. But next time we stream, we'll hopefully try to keep a little bit more time for some deep after show action. But thank you very much for watching, and listen to the podcast. Download it if you don't even listen to it. Just download it. Just give us a download. This is now you see it. Now I'm not on the recording,
now
so I'll beg.
Oh please,
I'll
God.
beg here.
Yeah,
I'll beg.
Download it on all your devices.
Download everything. Download and follow and subscribe.
Make us feel better.
I keep forgetting to tell people to subscribe on iTunes. You see, this is my problem. I'm really not good at self-promoting because I'm more interested in the content than I am about self-promoting my damn content.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it for the after show. So wait, I'm just gonna quickly what's the antithesis picture of this entire
Trinity? Come on now.
Yeah, you think that right there? You think that's the one?
Great shot all around.
Oh wait! I didn't transition. Boo! It didn't transition the right way. Bam! There it is.
Yeah.
This is the last thought we'll leave you on.
Yeah.
The sock puppets don't have genders, I guess. Good point.
Yes.
Yes.
That's fair.
I mean, the only way you gender a sock puppet is by putting eyebrows on it, like eyelashes. You put eyelashes.
I was gonna say if you just like stick a dick to it.
No, but you don't have a place to stick a dick on a sock puppet.
You just stick it right there.
On the wrist?
Right there.
Right there?
Yeah, you
see, but look, normally, if you're trying to female gender, I don't know, but if you a female gendered sock puppet just has eyelashes.
Well, that's what I'm saying is you're trying to gender fuck that preconception. Anyway.
Well, then you put an eyelash and you put a dick on it, I suppose.
Yeah, that's now you're talking my language.
Did Mr. Socko have a... Mr. Socko is
Ed the Sock?
No, Ed the Sock was basically a Muppet.
He was a sock puppet.
He was more than a sock puppet.
Ed the Sock?
Yeah,
he's a sock with shit fucking
He was more than a sock. The most iconic sock puppet in all of media, the most iconic sock puppet on all of media is 100% Mr. Socko from wrestling.
No.
Yes.
Ridiculous.
Mr. Socko.
Ridiculous. I want another tab. Give me another tab. Oh, this is ridiculous. No, we gotta go.
Okay. Totoro, all of our links and stuff like that will be in the description of the video. We kind of did this a bit last minute, so I didn't have a chance to actually lay everything in there the way that I want it to be. But all the links and descriptions and stuff will be right here in the description of this video. And I also need to get into my channel and like update a whole bunch of stuff inside my channel too, in terms of making sure all that stuff is there. Like I said, I'm a horrible self-promoter. For somebody who just spends their time trying to have a live stream situation on Twitch and stuff like that. Like, I didn't even mention Twitch.
You didn't.
I didn't even mention Twitch, and Twitch is the thing that I've been doing. I've been trying to Twitch stream some video games at least once a week, and it's been terrible because my work on Big Brother has been so awful in terms of time schedule. But anyway, we have to get going. It's been good talking to you. My neighbor, Totoro, I hope you come back.
My neighbor.
You've been the best. Great listener. Watcher, viewer.
Yes.
And reactions. Yeah, let us know who your top 3 is when you get a chance. And with that is the end. And we will see you guys next Tuesday.